And we're live.
What? I didn't even get a countdown.
I'm
you
sorry.
See how this goes, everybody?
I was checking my email.
This is my production manager right here, right? This is my producer right here. This is the man who owns Fun Speculation Network, and he's more busy checking his emails than he is paying attention when we're about to go freaking live. Welcome, everybody. It's a Thursday night. It's PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM, maybe PCMR in the PM. We've been doing a lot of that lately as well, but you know what it really is. It is still PM in the PM, where we're going to talk about all the freaking fantastic news, and what a hell of a day it has been. It started out great and it just kept getting great. So we will get into that. Happy Starfield preload day for all of you that jumped into that, and happy, obviously, review code day for all the lucky outlets out there that got their codes today, that were proudly announcing it across Twitter. We are going to talk about that. And I should state that according to IGM, some people got to download today. Some people. Yeah. I don't know who, but some people, according to their latest article. Right. Mav had a fantastic show on FSP on Monday night where he went off, the team went off, the family went off on IGN, obviously for the earlier problem this week. So Mav and I might touch a little bit on the latest one that, again, it's unexplainable. But anyways, I hope you're all having a great night. It is August.
It's explainable.
It's explainable. It's August the 17th, everybody. That's right. We are 2 weeks away from Starfield early access. And I know a large part of our audience are going to be jumping into early access. Maybe not everybody is, but my God, am I excited. And before I get to my partner in crime here, real quick, my brother from another, I gotta give a special shout out, a personal thank you right now at the beginning of this show to everybody. I've not been able to respond all day at work. I've been trying to at least like everybody's comments, but listen, part of the reason why this day was great, first of all, woke up this morning and saw on Twitter that I could download Starfield. So I did that, right? And then saw the review codes going out and everybody's getting their access. And we're going to have reviews on August 31st, which Mav and I'll talk about as well. And then all of a sudden I was at work. And I can't listen to shows like I used to. You all know that. I used to be in almost every single chat I possibly could be. I can't do that anymore. So I don't get to listen to shows. But my other brother from another, Steel Rain, my co-host on Living Split Screen, he was on Xvlog today with Boom. And all of a sudden I pop on Twitter to just kind of see what's going on Twitter. And all of a sudden I got a message from, shout out to Calorie. Calorie, he hit me up on Twitter and said, hey, Pong, you guys just passed 1K for Living Split Screen subs live on the air with Boom and Steel on Xvlog. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me right now? I'm like, we did it. Yes, we did. So Living Split Screen, we finally got over 1K. You know, again, it's been mission 1K for a while. We've been doing it our way, but I just want to give a huge shout out. I did post on Twitter to everybody. And like I said, I'm going to try to reply to all you guys tonight, but thank you all. To this community, to this entire community, thank you all for the love and support that you've shown me, Steel, our show Living Split Screen every Saturday morning, and that includes this entire family here. And of course, my co-host, the one, the only Fun Speculation, aka Mav, who is a large part of our success over on Living Split Screen, because this is one big family. Even if we have different channels, it's still one big family. Steel comes on, our show is over here, and obviously I'm on over there. Like, we all are lifting each other up, and that's the biggest part of this community. And I already gave a special shout out to Boom for doing what he does. It's not just us. It's so many people in this community that he's lifted up, and he did it on his show again today. And it is freaking amazing. And then not to mention everybody else, PTK, everybody that's taken a chance on me or taken a chance on Steel to bring on their shows from the beginning to now. Again, enough can't be said. And then all of you in the chat who tune in each and every week to all of these shows, who share out, who talk about us, who again interact with us, not only in the chat, but on Twitter and other places. And even all the people, of course, that lurk, that maybe I don't even know that you listen to us. You're all in that same boat, and you've all done just a absolutely marvelous job since I jumped into this community. I could not be happier. And I nothing but love and respect to each and every single one of you who made this deal possible. People can poo-poo 1K, blah, blah, blah. You guys are small. Don't care. The fact that we got there is big. And again, it doesn't stop. The mission doesn't stop for me and Steel. It doesn't stop for Fun Speculation Network. You know, again, this is what it's all about. This is why we did this, to find passionate people like ourselves to be able to talk to week in and week out about our damn favorite hobby, which is video games, which is the golden age of gaming, folks. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all again for the love and support you've shown everybody throughout all these channels this entire time, including Living Split Screen on Saturday mornings. So just want to give a special thank you to that. So let's get to the one and only, the man who does own Fun Speculation Network. Well, at least 50% of it. Caitlin's got the other half. It might be 60-40 in Caitlin's favor by this point, because she makes all amazing thumbnails, including the gold Starfield today. Listen, thanks, Caitlin. I appreciate it. But let's get to you, Mav. How have you been, brother? What's your week been like? I know you've been busy with work. You got a lot going on, but you know, what's been happening, brother? We got some exciting times happening right now.
Yeah,
so.
man, it's been a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 for gaming, but besides that, yeah, a lot of work and stuff. So it's been a bit fun week so far with all that. But before we talk about all that stuff, congratulations to you and our brother Steel Rain, because I know it was a long time coming for you guys. The amount of effort and passion y'all put in every single week to that show Saturday mornings, and it's very well deserved. And I know it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, and faster than you got to 1K, you'll hit 2K, and then 3, and then, you know, and then beyond. So super happy for both of you.
Thank you.
And yeah, it means a lot for both of you to have anything to do with me as well. So I appreciate that, and appreciate you being on this show and taking the captain's chair.
Of course. Of course.
But yeah, man, it's been a fun week, you know, just gaming. And it was crazy for Baldur's Gate 3 as I looked at the time played when I was entering Act 2.
Yeah.
46 hours.
Ooh, you are now past me.
In Act 1.
Nice.
Like that's insane. And
I've seen a lot of people
do everything in Act 1.
Nope.
Like
I've seen a lot of people in that area, Mav. It's big.
It's so nuts, man, and it's so good. And like I was just checking on things earlier, you know, like I'm thinking a lot about Starfield right now. I'm thinking about all these games coming and all that stuff. And like I was looking around, just kind of thinking about all these games, like, and how for me, like this best. I think we're on the cusp of the next few months. Yeah. Being like potentially the best run of video games ever, right?
Talk about it.
In a short time span, like from August to, let's say, like November or something, whatever. Maybe the best run of video game releases we've ever seen of all time, with one of my most anticipated games of all time, my most anticipated game definitely in years, being Starfield. And for me, that kind of the start of that was with Baldur's Gate 3 release, right? And so I kind of just went back and looked and see. I know it's been reviewing like crazy, you know, but I just looked at OpenCritic to, you know, kind of see where it fits all time. Yeah. I had no idea on Open. Now, the OpenCritic only dates back to 2013, right? So it's not taking the glory days of PC, right? The early 2000s, mid 2000s and stuff like that. However, I did look it up, and on OpenCritic, Baldur's Gate 3 is sitting #1 of all time on PC review, right? Now, that doesn't take into consoles and all that stuff. It's just for the PC. But then I realized, as I was looking at the list, number 5 was Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yep.
And then it's scrolling further down. I went to page 2. Number 25 was Divinity Original Sin 1. So it just had a reality moment that Larian, who like a lot of people probably hadn't heard of before Baldur's Gate 3. Let's just be honest, right?
Yeah, that's real. Yep.
Which we both had. We were super excited when we found out that they were working on Baldur's Gate 3 when they made that announcement. It was like perfect choice. Yes, you know. but for that studio who has come out of the woodworks now to have one of the most played games on PC in years, and for this year for sure, especially in this type of game, to have 3 games in the last 10 years in the top 25 of PC releases for ratings is a huge triumph. And that's 3 releases in 10 years, all top 25 on PC. That is an accomplishment, man. That is.
And man, think about how many games are on PC.
Yes.
Even versus console. Think about how many games show up on PC year after year after year. When consoles were still getting, a lot of games, PCs were getting 3 times, 4 times as many games in a year. Sure, a lot of them are indies, but they get a lot of big games that never used to show up on console. We're seeing it more now. But think about that, Mav.
Yeah.
All the Half-Lives, right? All the different games you can run down that have been on PC, and there Larian is with 3 in the top 25. Very, very Bethesda-like.
Yeah, it is. Like, and like the one thing that's interesting is because like I said, this only dates back to 2013. Correct. So that like a lot of the big Bethesda releases are kind of like not on that list, right? So it's going to be interesting to see like where Starfield falls in that. Not that it needs to be compared necessarily per se. It's a different kind of game. I think it's going to have a lot more scrutiny against it as well. It's going to be a challenge for it. But like besides that, like there is, I haven't seen this amount of hype for a video game release in a long time. I think Elden Ring was probably pretty close. But I don't know. I'm thinking Starfield is even surpassing the hype of Elden Ring. It seems that way right now. And it's so exciting to be looking at these next few months and all these games we're going to get to play. Dude, freaking can't wait. How you been, Pong?
I've been busy. I've been extremely exhausted. We got smoke from more Canadian fires filtering in, so it's been awful. I've been fighting a headache for 3 days. Been getting home late from work. So I actually haven't been playing Baldur's Gate 3 this week. I haven't even felt like turning on my PC, sitting down, because I knew I was going to be passing out within an hour or 2. And I was just like, I'm not jumping into Baldur's Gate because I'll be on for 4 and I'll be dead in the morning. So I'm not going to do that. So actually this week I've been back on the console. That's right. I still turn on my Xbox. Played a little bit of Everspace 2. Simply, I played it on PC Game Pass when I first got my PC. So I knew, and I played the first Everspace. So I was excited for this. Hopped on console. Now it does have stuttering issues on Xbox, which the devs have acknowledged, and they are working on a fix. I believe that they are close to finding one. But outside of that, it looks very close to the PC version running at top end, right? Because my PC, I can run on everything on top. So very close to it. What a great game. If you guys, again, I know Starfield's coming out. A lot of you are playing Baldur's Gate 3 if you got PCs. There's billion games to play. But Everspace 2 in Game Pass, if you want to hop into another space shooter that's got like Diablo roots to it, because the devs admitted that Diablo was an inspiration for them with the loot system and that kind of stuff, this is simply a really, really fun game to play. So I did play around with Everspace 2. Go check that out for sure. Again, no harm, no risk. It's in Game Pass. Go download it. What else? Played Puzzle Quest 3, free to play game. I'm a match 3 guy. If you guys haven't heard me say that before, it's one of my oddball things that I really enjoy. I love match 3 games for some reason. I just really do. So I hopped into Puzzle Quest 3 because I knew it's something that I could play for a bit and then put down and go to bed. So I jumped into that this week as well. What else did I try? I think there was one more game in there that I also checked out. I can't remember now because we've had so many drop in, and I hadn't fired up the Xbox in a while, so I was checking different things out. But anyways, that's been the majority of my gaming this week. To be real, it's I did download Madden 24 last night, and I did play a game to practice for our rematch of my embarrassment last year, which is going to happen again, folks. But I did play a game of a Madden 24. Just played against a computer, of course, playing against the AI, Vikes versus Cowboys. I pulled it out by a field goal. So I think I'm ready for you. I think I'm going to take you down this year.
All right. Let's go, man. Maybe it's streamed this weekend, right?
maybe we'll do that this weekend for sure. Again, I got to download. I'm ready to rock and roll. I got a 10-hour trial, so I used up about, I don't know, hour and a half last night playing that one game. But Madden 24, yeah, it's Madden 23, it's Madden 22, it's Madden 21, it's Madden 20. It's
Madden 99.
Pretty much the same. Yeah, because since I'm not a high level player, so I don't use all the new little tiny throwing mechanics and catching mechanics and all that kind of stuff that they all do. To me, it's the same damn game. Although I will say, maybe it was just the terrible Dallas defensive line, but running seemed to be easier. I averaged like 7 yards per carry with Madison last night. So that was interesting. I was like, and that was like on 9 carries, 10 carries. So I was like, oh, this feels a little bit better than it used to. I can see holes and I can actually get through them. Pause. Yeah, no. So that's been my week here. Sorry, folks, if my voice sounds weird again. These freaking smoke in the air is just killing me right now. But yeah, it's been my week, Mav. Otherwise, it's just been watching the news drop. And again, watching the hype for Starfield explode, like you were talking about, and watching the continuation of Baldur's Gate 3 dominating conversations and thinkers and all sorts of different things. We didn't know, Mav. I mean, we did. We knew that this year was going to be big. We knew that this year was the potential to be the GOAT of all time. Again, I think you probably agree with me, even at this point, prior to Starfield, prior to Forza, prior to Spider-Man, I would put this up against any of the years, including 2007 or whatever year you want to pull out. I think this is GOAT. But the fact is, man, that we, in the second half of the year now, after a first half of great game after great game after great game, no matter where you're playing, the second half of the year, we are experiencing one of the greatest. It'll probably wind up, it probably already is in my top 10, but by the time it's all said and done, it'll probably wind up. I'm going to be moving my entire greatest all-time list around a lot after this year, especially when Starfield drops too. But the fact that we got Baldur's Gate 3, which was probably top 10 all time for me already, and is a classic style CRPG that has taken people by storm, people that don't play these games, and people are already talking generational, which I definitely can hear for Baldur's Gate 3, a generational game already. And then we got another one just weeks away here that we believe has the potential to have the same impact on top of all these other games in between, Mav, games that you and I were so hyped for that we haven't even really gotten to play because we don't have time, or we haven't purchased because there's been so much else to play. This year is unlike any freaking other year. It is crazy. Man, we had another tactics game drop today.
I know,
Shadow's
right?
Gambit. I talked about this game last week on Living Split Screen when we did our upcoming games of the week. Shadow's Gambit by Me, right? They did Shadow Tactics. And if you guys don't remember Shadow Tactics, what is it called? Shadow Tactics, not Way of the Shogun. I don't think it's Way of the Shogun. Can't remember the rest of the title. Shadow Tactics was a ninja tactics game. And it was difficult. It was tough. But damn if it wasn't good. Very good. It was on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. This team comes back around and drops another one called Shadow Gambit. And again, it's got another longer part of the title with
the Cursed
Pirates.
Crew. Yeah.
Cursed Crew. Thank you. With pirates. And again, you talk pirates, I'm all in. I'm about to become the most famous space pirate ever in the history of Starfield when this thing drops. I love pirates. And what does this team do? This team that nobody's heard of outside of the people who played Shadow Tactics, which did get pretty good ratings back in the day. I think it sits in the 80s, if I remember correctly. But it was so damn hard, a lot of people didn't play it. And that's back when Tactics still had this stigma around it. This whole generation has flipped the Tactics games on its head. This game comes out and is sitting at like an 85 on OpenCritic. An 85, man.
Yeah.
In any other year, that would probably be a top 10.
Yep.
Right?
That same studio also did that game Desperados.
Yes, Desperados 3 is Desperados as well. That is correct too. Thank you for reminding me of that. Desperados is also in there, which I do actually own. I played a little bit of it.
Look at consistency too, just to bring up the review scores. Shadow Tactics 85, average between the three consoles, or PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Desperados, PC 86, Xbox One 85, PS4 82. And then now Shadow Gambit at 86. That's what I call consistency of quality, right? Like
it's ridiculous. ACG tweeted out today how it made his heart warm to see tactics games getting love again. And me and Mav, especially if you've been listening to PM and the PM, where me and Mav sit with strategy, tactics, RTS. Our love for these games. It is incredible that we're getting these games, but I don't even have the time to go play them. I want to go play Alien Dark Descent. Yeah. I want to go play Company of Heroes 3. I still haven't touched either one of those. And now I've got another one, Mav, that it's on my will playlist for sure. This year, 2023, again, one for the history books, folks. Remember this year when you talked to your kids in the years ahead, when they ask you about your video game time and sitting in this community, just remember 2023 will be the GOAT when it's all said and done. And there will be very few people who deny this. I don't think anybody's going to be able to deny it. It's incredible, Mav. It really is.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing that.
And that's fine, Red Monkey Butt. Red Monkey Butt, you don't have to play BG3. Again, the world's most popular games don't get played by everybody. Again, like PlayStation fans try to say that everybody that owns Sony PlayStation plays Spider-Man. That ain't true.
No.
Sold 40 million copies out of 120 to 140. Okay. No, not everybody plays every game. Skyrim, beloved, just passed 40 million. Not played by everybody, even though it's highly critical. So no, Red Monkey Butt, doesn't matter. You don't have to. I don't play Zeldas. I still know how great Zeldas are, why people love them, even if I don't play them. That's what it's all about, being a gamer, not all this other nonsense that people are doing right now. So no problem. You don't have to play Baldur's Gate 3, sir. You do not. So we got, you want to get some super chats here, Mav?
Yeah, let's do that real quick. Shout out to Alvin, hit us earlier with $5. Says Starfield comet coming to take out the haters and pundits like the salt dinosaurs they are. Extinction level event in 2 weeks. Let's go. Alvin, also a member for 14 months, uses his membership chat saying BG3 is actually #1 open critic total over Mario Odyssey. Wow, I didn't even realize that because I was just looking up the PC stuff. So that's really cool. Jay Rembert with the $10. Appreciate you, Jay. Says the amount of salt from the PS community is mind-blowing because if PS was everything they said it was, they wouldn't be worried about Starfield, let alone Xbox at all. But they do have some FOMO right now, I think, and it's probably where a lot of this salt is coming from, is what my opinion is, Jay. So, yeah, it's interesting to see this, you know. Maybe they don't all have the $2,500, $3,000 PCs that they say they do.
We're finding out a lot of fraudulent behavior out here, Mav, over the past year or 2 years now. So this falls right in line.
Yeah, they're gonna have to play it on the cloud.
Yep.
Unless they get an Xbox or PC.
Yeah, I don't know. New Samsung TV.
Yeah, it's play the games where the games are, right?
Michael Ford, 26 months member. Here's to a great Starfield launch. Here is to a great Starfield launch, sir. It is going to be glorious. It is going to be absolutely glorious. Let me give a shout out to the chat here, and then we're gonna hop. We'll hop right into Starfield stuff because Mav and I, we got to start the show off this way because we don't know how long we're gonna go for on Starfield.
It's going to be a Starfield heavy couple weeks here, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be massive. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Starfield. So, first of all, we got Talos Re in here. What's going on, Talos? Mr. 7-Digit, what's going on? We got Cullen Prime in the house. What just happened is in here. What's going on? Ozzy Fan 80, Poison Maniac, great supporter. What's going on, Poison? Always great to see you guys in here. Blas Reed Jenkins, what's going on? He said, I just saw a Starfield poster on a New York City bus. Yes, buses for the win, everybody. I think Starfield
it's not marketing unless it's on buses.
That's correct. That's correct. I still say we need to know the total number of buses, though. All right, Jay Rembert, what's going on? The aforementioned Red Monkey Butt. Great to have you in here. It's Timmy. Timmy's in here. What's going on? It's Timmy. Who else we got in here? We got Micah Ford, who I just shouted out. We got Wilfrey Rosario. We got Amit Kumar. So many good people in here tonight. We got Snooky Jackson's in here. We got Gerald Spartan 27. We got Monster 530. What's going on, Masta? We got Del Clay 23. We got Serve in here. We got the one and the only OCDgamer saying Xbox has no games. Yeah, you're right, OCD. Don't let the secret out. Xbox has got no games. J Mo Money's in here. What's going on, J Mo? Why so serious is in here. What's going on? Who else? Thank you all for dropping in here. We got the one, the only Boss Mod Lethal Papa in here swinging the big hammer. If any of you fools get out of control tonight, don't you even think about it. Pat Man Jones, what's going on, Pat Man? Oh, we got the Dusty Uno in here. What's going on, Dusty? Thank you for all the shares that you've been putting out as well, sir. Appreciate you. Masshole 1977 is here. What's going on, Masshole? Who else? We got Spider-Man 356 in here. What's going on, Spider-Man? We got Abdel 114 dropping in and saying, yo to you, Abdel. What's going down? Who else? We got in here. We got Dragon Wolf is in the house. What's going on, Dragon Wolf? Great to see you. We got the True Serum's in here. What's going on, True Serum? Great to have you a part of the show. Thank you. Got the one and only Drawn TJ in the house. What's going on, Drawn? Great to see you dropping in and saying hi. We got God's Geeks in the house. What's going on, God's Geeks? Great to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Who else? Let's keep going here. Alvin, what's going on? We got Calorie. What's going on, Calorie? Again, thank you, sir, for the heads up. We got Romantic in the house. What's going on, Romantic? Or no, wait, did I say that? Romantic, not romantic. I thought that was romantic for a second. Romantic, what's going on? We got the brother from another. Steel Rain is in here. Mr. Armor Core 6's game of the year already, and nobody can talk him down off that ledge. He's going to die on that hill, but I love it. Batman is not a superhero click. Oh, Vic. There's going to come a day, Vic, when you just go back to Vic the Click, and I'm going to thank you.
Yeah.
Batman is not a superhero click. Thank you, sir, for dropping in here. As always, pleasure to see you, brother. Caitlin, the beautiful Miss Caitlin in the house. Again, Caitlin, thank you for the thumbnail and the share. Appreciate you, all that you do behind the scenes, as always. We got RSJ fan in here. What's going on, my friend? Always great to have you a part of the show. Appreciate you dropping in here. We got the Lore Master Jasper. And Lore Master Jasper, the understated one who blew up IGN earlier this week, literally woke up Monday morning with violence in his eyes and lava in his veins, and he just destroys IGN. It's so funny because listening to other podcasts who picked up on this, some of the big podcasts, they don't even know where it originated from. Jasper got no credit for being the one that did it. Everybody else who reported it got credit, except for Jasper. Unbelievable. But this man woke up and chose violence, but he also had a great Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 stream today as well. That was awesome. Jasper, I had to catch it much later, but I watched it back to see what was going on with Modern Warfare 3, and you did a fantastic job, sir. Getting sweaty with a few games prior to as well. Sanchez MTZ Gaming. What is going on, Sanchez? Great to have you in here. Who else? We got Max City Entertainment, ENT. I always say your full entertainment because I know that's what it stands for, but Max City Ent. What's going on? Great to have you joining us for the show. We got the one, the old Polly Baba's in here. And we've got, of course, Black Card Day is in the house. What's going on, Black Card Day? We got Seeky. What's going on, Seeky? We got Jason Max in the house. Always good to see you guys dropping in here early on. We got Cyber in here. What's going on, Cyber? Always great to see you a part of the show. And now I know for a fact we probably got people that dropped in the bottom of this after I just got done through the whole list. We got the Hooded Canuck in here. What's going on, Hooded Canuck? Who else? M. Gene is in the house. The one, the only Web Dave's brother. All good to see you. Ghost Fixtures in here. We got the legend himself, and he drops in here not just to say hi, but he drops in here with a $10 super chat. The one, the only Dragon Heart Yobi. Peace, love, life, and Pong. Congrats on the 1K. Listen, that discussion we had a while back with you and Steel, just the reveal is going to be crazy. I got it all mapped out in my head. Love, brothers. Yobi, we will see you Saturday, sir, and you truly are a legend and one of the most generous people of energy in this community as well. Thank you, sir, for dropping in here. Always good to see you. And I appreciated the shout out on Twitter as well. We got Fantus Archer. What's going on, Fantus Archer? We got JaggerBlaze Alex, JaggerBlaze Alex, whichever way you like to rock with that. Thank you for dropping in here and saying, how's everyone? We're doing good. We're excited. Scorpio's in here. What's going on, Scorpio? Magnum Westward. What's going on? We got the Ant-Man 86. What's going on, Ant-Man? Of course. The Beer Baron has to drop on in here. Beer Baron, what's going on? Drinks all around for everybody. Sin, what is going on, Sin? We got Andrew Ruiz in here. What's going on, Andrew? We got Snooky Jackson. We got Soul Khan. My God, the beautiful names that just show up week in, week out. Oscar Emilio A. Gonzalez. What is going on, Oscar? Great to have you dropping in here and using your full name. I love when you do that. Roshan Eppinger. What's going on, Roshan? Man, oh man, the beautiful people. Ozzy. Oh, I think that's where I was back at. Ozzy Fan 80. I think I got you shouted out. If I did, you get a double Ozzy Fan 80. What's going on? Gummy Hernandez. I see you dropping. Oh, of course. Gummy Hernandez. Thank you with the yo-yo. And of course, we got Spooky. That's right. SpookyTBG's in here. What's going on, brother? Great to have you a part of the show, sir. We got the Phantom Kraken. That's right. Shout out to Weebly Green. Shout out to Dirk Griggity. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Phantom Kraken. Yo, miss you guys. I don't get to watch your show as much anymore because of work, but thank you for dropping in here, Phantom Kraken. Appreciate you, brother, all the time. Who else we got in here? I think that's everybody, Mav. Emil, I see you jumping in here. Says Starfield is my GTA in space. I can buy houses and steal spaceships and run from the law. I could do cargo heist runs. I'm a big Rockstar fan, but this game will be legendary special. Could not agree with you more. If you want to play it like GTA, you can, because it's a sandbox. Go for it. It's going to be fun. Again, space pirates all around. I'm going to be running from the law all the time. Decado, I see you dropping in here too. All right. I think we
do have one more super chat too.
From, RQ, I see you.
Sanchez MTZ Gaming with the $5 said, risk it for the brisket. Yes, sir. I love brisket. So brisket's definitely worth risking it for.
Oh, man. All these beautiful people. All right, man. So let's get down to it. So this week, this has been a very bad week, man, for the concerned trolls. What, man, was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when we did the shut the fuck up about Starfield episode? When was that? Was that 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
I think so. I think it was around that time.
I think it was the end of July, wasn't it? I think it was the end of July. Yeah, if you guys missed that episode, please go to watch it because we went on some really, really good rants during that episode. Micah Ford dropping in here with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Micah. So we did an STFU about Starfield episode, and we talked about these concerned trolls, and we talked about all the narratives that were running around. Mav and I and the entire Fun Speculation Network and so many other channels who actually do know about Bethesda games, know about Todd Howard, are big believers in their games, have been telling you guys for about 1.5 years, 2 years, maybe even longer when we started talking about Starfield, that people forget what it means to have a Todd Howard 18 game drop, a single player RPG drop. And we kept telling you guys this. And yet we still had the concerned trolls out here. Again, why people listen to these folks, I don't know, because the people that listen to them have to know when they see all this stuff happening that they've just got bad information after bad information after bad information. Concerned trolls were out here trying to tell everybody, no demo at Gamescom. Oh, something wrong. No marketing. Oh man, it's a month and a couple weeks away from launch. Where's the marketing? Could it be delayed again? Is there problems? What are they doing over there? And then it turned into Mav. Oh, well, it hasn't gone gold. Oh, what? Why haven't we heard gold yet? This is concerning. What are they doing? In fact, it got so bad that a couple concerned trolls took it upon themselves to hit up the one that only Pete Hines over at Bethesda underneath another one of his posts and say, Pete, we don't care about this other stuff. We just want to know when Starfield's going gold. Why hasn't it gone gold? And Pete had to put the hammer down. Some people were like, oh, he went way overboard. That was kind of a nasty. No, y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve it. Pete Hines came back and said, don't worry. Me and my team know what we're doing over here. And he was absolutely right to say that. And on top of that, we had this little rumor from some unknown. I don't know how these people get started. Again, I could create some fake anti-Xbox accounts and I could start some rumors. And I swear to God, I could become bigger than I am now on Twitter just by starting fake rumors, because that whole community over there, that's the circus, just takes anything from anybody. This dude who supposedly has known things in the past put out a bunch of tweets this week saying review codes aren't going out until August 31st or September 1st. There's a problem. Xbox and Bethesda aren't giving out review codes until it launches in early access. We all know what that means. And the circus ran with this. They all honked their noses, honk, 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 ran around the stage, spraying everybody with their flowers and said, oh, wait, that's right. Yeah, guys. Oh, they must be scared. There must be really big problems with Starfield. They're not giving out review codes. And what happens, man? Past 2 days.
The flood of review codes get arrive. Not to mention, people had already had review codes when that rumor was going around. Also, and the idiot, that original person that did that and was trying to spread the stuff was very mistaken, because this was very clear from the get-go. There's a Bethesda even put this tweet out originally for content creators that want to just create content for Starfield. There's a separate way of signing up and trying to get a key. And that's what they're referring to. Not a review copy, just a content creation launch key, right? It even specifies that's what it is, you know, on the thing when you sign up for it. So a lack of effort for even doing their due diligence on what it is. I signed up to try and get one of the content creation keys for Steam and Xbox, but I don't know if I'll get one or whatever. But it's very clear it wasn't a review copy I was going to get early. And it's clear that they are sending out quite a few review copies, because today is just full of people saying, hey, look what I got. I'm playing it. Can't wait to give my review. It's dropping August 31st, right? Which is also days before the official launch as well. So.
It's a week before official launch, but man, it didn't stop there. On top of it, it went gold this week too. So that was yesterday. Today, the review copies, the review copies everybody started talking about the review codes, getting to them. It didn't stop there. Man, I actually saw them, some of the clowns, not even willing to yet die on their hill that they died a while back on, a long time ago. Let's put it that way. They just keep rising from the dead. Let's put it that way. These clowns never stop. I saw them after the review codes went out today, Mav. And I told you this behind the scenes, but I'm doing this dramatic flavor for the audience here. Okay. So I saw when everybody started claiming that they got the review codes, or bragging that they got their review codes, because let's be real, I'd brag too if I got one. And all these people were going to start reviewing Starfield, and that the embargo date was the 31st, meaning we will have full or in process reviews for Starfield when it goes into early launch. I actually saw some of these guys turn around and go, oh, well, it's great that that I'm seeing review codes out here, but you know there's got to be a but, man, because again, the narrative can't stop.
There's always a but.
But the real question is now, how widespread are these review codes given?
Oh, wow.
Implying, of course, that Microsoft and Xbox are Xbox and Bethesda are only giving review codes to Xbox sites. Oh, let me tell you something.
They only sent 3. They sent one to Colt Eastwood, one to Jez Corden, and one to Randolph Thor. That's it. You know.
4 because we know Tom Warren got one.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, that's it. That's all they sent out, apparently, right?
Yeah. No, let me tell you something, folks. Go look on Twitter at who got the codes, at least who's proclaiming got the codes. You got Kind of Funny out here. You got Grub out here. You got the blonde nerd. She got one. You got GWG getting one. You got the wide spectrum, and it's all the major players. And it doesn't look like Xbox and Bethesda held back any review codes from anybody that wasn't 100% pro Xbox. But again, we can't let the narrative die. Bav, you got to jump in there. Got some of your thoughts in, but brother, Todd Howard and the A-Team, they do this. This is the magnet, man. And we knew this was coming. We tried, again, that's why we had a whole show called STFU about Starfield.
Yeah.
This stuff is nonsense because this game, whether good, bad, or indifferent, it draws massive appeal from all over. I saw Nintendo fans coming out of the woodwork because I click on their profiles hating on this game, because that's you also get those people who just hate Bethesda and want to see them fail. You get everybody and everything in between. But this is what it does. This is why we sat here, Mav, and said, when everybody was coming down on us, when we were marching, when we were the marchers, and everybody said, oh, even people in the Xbox community, no, you got to have 3 months of marketing. We were looking around like, what?
Does that exist?
Why? Does it ever exist? When has Todd and the A-Team ever needed 3 months of marketing? I don't care if it's a brand new IP. Their games market themselves. They have a huge audience already just frothing at the mouth to get their hands on these games. We haven't seen a new IP in over 20 years from these guys. And here it comes. And you think we need 3 months of marketing to get the word out? Yo. Go ahead. Man.
No, it's a new IP and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, you know, nobody was heard of it. Nobody cares. It's they need 3 months of buses going around the cities to tell everybody, all the people that get on and off the bus that, hey, the bus drivers should also be telling everybody that gets on, hey, did you know there's a game coming out called Starfield? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what people expect, but the 3 month thing was always ludicrous to me. But it became this like reality that people lived in. That's this conversation of like, yeah, 3 months of marketing. Yeah, it's like there's no way this game could come out then because they need 3 solid months of marketing. It's like, okay, then it was like a month ago, or less than a month ago, a couple weeks ago. People were like, where's the marketing? Where's all the marketing? We're concerned. Why isn't Xbox marketing their games enough? Why aren't they pushing Starfield? Man, nobody's gonna know about it unless they tell people. Like, where's the billboards? Where's the buses? Where's all this stuff? And then now it is like within about 3 weeks before launch, they really started hitting that pedal to the metal, right? And it's what kind of we originally said. It's usually like a few weeks of marketing leading up to launch. Now, like Starfield is everywhere. It's like always talked about on Twitter, just constant news, making special deals with people on YouTube, like the former Mythbusters
Don't try
guys,
this at home.
Like,
don't try this at home. Yeah.
Like the guy's building a spec model of the Frontier ship, right? Like, right. All these different things, like they're
you
doing.
got Post Malone giving you free advertising.
I know, that was crazy. I'm a Posty fan. He's from Dallas, right? Like, he's a super nice guy. You ever see a clip of Post Malone? He's just like always super nice.
He's a chill
his
dude.
Fans and stuff. And he was like,
spent $2 million on the One Ring card. Of course he's gonna play Starfield.
Right.
But I got a free advertise. Of course he knows about it.
And right? Then it's a lady was like waited 7 hours in the heat for Post Malone, and the question she asked. Now this just tells you how much Starfield hype there is. You wait outside to meet Post Malone for 7 hours, and you can ask anything. And the question you ask is, hey, are you excited for Starfield? But not only that, such a chill dude is like, fuck yeah, I'm going to play the shit out of Starfield. And he's like, yeah, I'm on tour, but I got a rig that I take with me to play this game. I can't wait. Yeah. It's like awesome, man. Like there's so much hype around for everybody that is like a gamer that understands what kind of game this is. Now, it's not for everybody. So there's going to be some people that cast it aside, or there's going to be some people that aren't interested, just like every game isn't for everybody. But like, this is a large launch, and people forgot, right? Like we talked about this before we went live, Pong, and we've talked about this several times in the past. Like, people forget, the short-term memory with gamers, right? People
Correct.
forget the 360 era and like all the games that came out and the 360 dominance at the time, right? People forget about all these different games that Bethesda has launched before, that were big single player RPGs. Instead, they just focus on short-term or nearer misses that have been more recent, like Fallout 76, that's now an amazing experience, or like things like that. The things that they can associate, right? Because
Correct.
it's been a long time since they've released a game like this. It's been since 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 2016, I think. Around then, maybe 2018. I can't remember exactly what year that came out, but Fallout 4 was the last one. And that had a lot of hype, and it was another Fallout in that
2015.
series. 2015. Wow. Jeez.
Yep.
Since 2015. And so, people forget, man. People forget, like, the A team, right? The core team. Now, a lot of this studio, people don't realize, like, a lot of these teams have been together 20 plus years at Bethesda. It's a core, close-knit group of the top talent. Now, they've grown exponentially with lots of other studios and are capable of a lot more than they were in the past. But the top brass there within Bethesda, as far as development talent, a lot of them are the same people that have been making those past games, and you can see it throughout all the Starfield stuff, especially the developer direct and everything. But people forgot who they were, like, and it's like 2 years ago when we're having to make videos, like, why are we excited about Starfield? This is why. When everybody's like, why would you don't know anything about this game? Why are you even talking about it? Like, well, because we know who's making it, bro. Like, and we know what kind of game it's supposed to be. And now you see a couple years later, the amount of hype that has commenced leading up to launch for one of the most anticipated games in the last decade for sure. And it's fun to watch. I'm going to be really... it's going to be really fun to see all the haters and the people that did forget that were trying to compare Starfield to No Man's Sky and to all these games. Get the review copy, right? And you play it like, oh shit, this isn't like No Man's Sky. Like, this is a Bethesda RPG. Oh, I remember playing these back in the day. Oh, it's got that flavor. It's like got Todd Howard and his team been printed all over it, right? And that's the special sauce that you can't create with any other studio, right?
Nope.
And that is what's going to make this game fun, deep, enjoyable, and a different experience that people can't get anywhere else. And I'm really excited to see what people have to say that got their copies for review. I think, as we've already heard, like, early rumblings, like the people that I have been playing are already starting to spill out some positive vibes, like I've heard things about the gravity really affecting the combat, like that makes it really fun, all these other different things as well. And you're gonna start to hear other little rumblings come out about the positivity and stuff. So, man, it's amazing to see. 3 weeks, plenty of marketing time, because this is like the most talked about game right now, I think. Is becoming that, even with the recent launch of Baldur's Gate 3. So, dude, Starfield hype is immense. It's gone gold. It's official. Like, there can be no more doubt. There can be no more haters out there trying to sway people like, oh, it's in trouble. Like, they're just going to delay it last minute again, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that. No, it is gone gold. The game is coming out August 31st for early adopters, and then on September 6th for everybody else. Review copies are going to see floods of reviews on August 31st, and you're going to see nothing but Starfield hype up until that point, and I am loving it, bro, because this is what we've been waiting for. Like, we are go for launch. We are go for launch. We are sitting in the cockpit, strapped to our chairs, ready for blast off, baby, and we're going to be sent to a place we haven't been to before in gaming with Starfield.
Correct.
So I'm super pumped.
And it's shout out to Free Bear in the chat too. Great to see you in here, Free Bear. Free Bear came through with a nice comment and said, fun speculation. You guys care and it shows. Thank you. No, thank you, Free Bear, for the support and the kind words. Appreciate that. like I said, we do this because we want to find a bunch of passionate people. And if you can't tell, Mav and I and the entire Fun Speculation family and Steel and everybody that I'm associated with on all these channels, we're all passionate about this stuff. When it comes to something like Starfield, it goes to another level because, again, this year is already the GOAT. Like I said in the beginning, this year is already the GOAT. And we're getting freaking Starfield a month after we get dropped a generational CRPG. Starfield, I believe, again, has the potential to be just another Elder Scrolls, another Fallout. It will be the third franchise for Bethesda, exactly what Todd has always wanted.
Three pillars.
Three pillars. Starfield will not be a one and done game. This will be a franchise in the rotation going forward. We will be playing new Starfield games until hopefully the day I croak. By then, hopefully I'm in some kind of freaking, again, some type of virtual reality in space where I'm actually flying my spaceships and doing all this stuff. But we are going to be playing Starfield for a very long time to come. And I believe this one is going to hit. Again, when it comes to, let's talk about this real quick too, Mav. Polly Baba says, I tried Fallout 76 3 times and it didn't click with me. But when ZeniMax Online Studios dropped Starfield Online, I'm on that shit day one, boy. Yeah. Yes. If they do a Starfield Online, which of course most of us believe they will, all about it. I can't imagine. I want to go fight Boom in space as he tries to capture me because he's a cop. And I'm a pirate. But let's talk about this too, Mav. Review scores. Again, we made it quite clear here. We talk about them because it does give you a general overall feeling, at least from the reviewer standpoint of where game stands. And most of the time, just like movies, there are exceptions to this rule. Movies, it happens more often where the audience really loves something and the critics hate something, or vice versa. In video games, it's more usually in line with the general consensus. Again, we don't care about them as far as making decisions for us. I listen to certain people if I do want to listen to reviews. But this week, there's been a whole lot of fun going on. And this is fun. It's part of speculation. It is a part of the industry, whether you care about the numbers or not. It's kind of fun. Starfield's an interesting case study, Matt, because you just talked about on FSP with the fam this week about the seeming bias. A lot of us have talked about this in some of the games media against Xbox. This conversation happened after ZeniMax was acquired. What would this, would Xbox's, this bias that seemingly, is pervasive through parts of this, through the media, the industry media, about Xbox, would that rub off on their other studios like ZeniMax Studios, and specifically like a Starfield? Starfield, traditionally in the past, Bethesda games have, of course, come out with bugs. They got the nickname Bugthesda for a reason. Now, I can argue with some people about some of the bugs actually making the experience more enjoyable. And I know people say, oh, that's cap. That's just an excuse. No, getting hit by a giant in Skyrim and going flying 1,000 feet in the air absolutely enhances the experience. I don't care what you try to say. Okay. But they did get that nickname for a reason. They've had a lot of bugs. The PS3 version of Skyrim was a wreck when it first came out. But it has been, if you go look at the review scores, Mav, Bethesda were beloved by critics. Bethesda Studios, again, made some of people's favorite games of all time when it comes to RPGs, and they were forgiven, like we've seen the media do. So, Mav, as we get closer to launch here, where are you at with your score? What do you think it's going to come in at? And obviously, by the score, I'll be able to tell what your next response is. So start with your response and then give me your score. Start with your response. Do you believe at this point in 2023 that some of the media or enough of the media will hate on Starfield simply for being an Xbox exclusive? And will that take down the numbers, the score, some notches? Or do you believe, because it is Bethesda, it is Todd Howard, that it will stand on its own and that the critics will not take into effect that it is an Xbox exclusive?
It's a tough question. I battle with myself a lot because
it is.
If everybody comes out and like gives this game 10s, right? but you're the lone media site that goes out and gives it like a 50 and bashes all over it, it will become clear as day who you are, right?
Yes.
You can't hide it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think at some point, because of the hype and anticipation, and depending on what they experience, there may be some fear to put forward that bias and try and hopefully shelve it, right? But part of me thinks there's also an inherentness to it that can't be ignored, because a lot of these reviewers may get Xbox copies, and they may not like playing on Xbox because that's who some of these guys are, right? And it's been exposed, right? Like we talked about it numerous times this past week with the stuff that came out from IGN again, and that's the biggest games media outlet, period.
Correct.
Now I think IGN's going to have to, like, I'm not saying IGN's going to be biased on this one, because I think they're smart enough, hopefully, to shelve that for this. But there's a lot of the like game rants who just like spilled random negative, like it looks like made up articles constantly just for the point of clicks. Now, our websites, the danger is not just because it's involved with Xbox, but the danger is the amount of attention and clicks that this game gets.
Correct.
Is the most important thing, because all the talk that Xbox isn't as big as PlayStation, all these other things, whatever, right? But what do all the PlayStation shows talk about, right? They talk about Xbox. Like, Xbox and the games on Xbox are probably the most talked about things in content creation and gaming and all this kind of stuff, whether they're trying to shit on it or praise it or whatever. There's a lot of attention, and this is the biggest game that Xbox has had in a very, very long time. So it's going to grab a lot of attention. Not only that, it would have anyway because of Bethesda, and this being the next pillar for Todd Howard's A-team there at Bethesda Game Studios with a single-player, story-driven RPG. Like, a long time coming, this game has been, right? And there's a reason there's this amount of hype and anticipation. Whereas, like, a game like Baldur's Gate 3 had a little bit of advantage because it kind of, like, came out, and then people got the copies, and then the reviews started flooding after the game was released, right? Because people were realizing how big of a game it was, and like, oh, we need to put out our review for this. And I'll take part in it. Now, this is different. Like, this is like everybody is aware of Starfield, right? All the sites know that this is the biggest launch of the year. Regardless of anything else, you can say Spider-Man 2 is like going to be really hyped and all these other things. There will be nothing else this year talked about, probably more than Starfield. And whether it's good or bad. Now, I have a very good feeling it's going to be mostly good. But will some of those websites like the Game Rants, like places like that obviously, if you look at their content, the Kotakus of the world and stuff like that, if you look at their content, they don't care about integrity. They don't care about anything other than clicks, because their articles are all just made up bullshit most of the time with clickbait headlines, like just constantly. It's just what they are. It's like smut sites, right? The fact that those sites actually get aggregated into scores is a travesty to gaming, period. First off, but sites like that don't give a shit about their credibility, don't give a shit about their integrity, that just purely want the most attention grabbing review out there, will possibly be the ones that drop the score down, because they want to be the counter, right? They want to be the opposite, so that way they don't stand in the crowd of all the positivity. They're just going to take the opposite stance just to get attention. It's a very popular media move over the last decade, for sure. If you're the counter argument, you're going to get a lot of attention, right? Call it the Skip Bayless. If you're a watch, if you watch
Undisputed
sports, any kind of sports content, you know who Skip Bayless is, right? It's like the Skip Bayless, right, of reviews. You just always take the opposite dumbass argument, contrarian and really stand behind it. Some of those websites are going to do that just for the sake of clicks. Now, the benefit I think Starfield has here, right, is the amount of reviews they will receive. Because I think really, like, every website, every credible journalistic gaming sites or anything will be trying to review this game because they know how big it is, right? Correct. So it will probably be up there with like Spider-Man 2 and Zelda and stuff as like one of the most reviewed games of the year. So hopefully those dumbass takes just get overshadowed and don't really count for much on the aggregate. So will they exist? Yes, but how much effect will they have? That's what I question, and that's what I don't know. But I have a feeling, like I put my review guess out there because that was kind of going around the other day, like as an assumption. And I think like my assumption would be somewhere like in the mid 90s, and I would say probably like a 94, having potentially have been able to get a 96 or 97, or even like one of the top scores, you know, from Bethesda's history if those sites didn't exist, in which back then they weren't as prominent back then. You know, those a lot more sites back then had credibility back in the mid to early 2000s, right? So we've seen a lot of change with that stuff, but there's been a lot of really good reviews out there the last year or so. I thought 90s were almost dead in gaming because of the amount of we didn't hardly have any for years, right? We had only a couple here and there, right? And it was because you always had the contrarians out there. You had this or that, but there was this past year, there's been so many good games come out that are like really high 80s and 90s and stuff, and it's like that those scores are starting to show up again. Will Starfield be the recipient of one? I think it should probably be. I haven't played it yet, but like after everything I'm seeing, the ambition, the scope, everything about this game, early impressions from people that are starting to send out some buzz about what they've experienced, it seems like it's on that track. So we'll see, man. But I can't fucking wait.
It's go ahead. Grab what you got.
Yeah, I was gonna say we do have a couple super chats to get to real quick. I don't want to let them get too old. No. Let's see. The Dusty Uno earlier said $2. Said much love, Pong and Mav, and congrats to 1K living split screen.
Thank you.
And also, I didn't say thank you to Micah earlier for the 10 gifteds, but I wanted to say thank you as well for those gifteds. AB with the $2 says, hi, what's your guys' PC specs to play Starfish? I think he means Starfield, but
Starfish, yes,
yeah, Starfish, the next great game.
That'll be a modded in
the underwater adventure from the creators of Starfish. AB $2. So I have a 7900 XT. AMD Pong has a 7900 XTX. AMD. I have a for CPU i7 13700K Intel CPU, and I have 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Those are the ones that matter, right?
My CPU is the 7950X.
Yeah, I think they're about equivalent, probably on the CPU side as well. And
we're very close. Yeah, we're very similar. So again, it's give and take in certain situations. So yeah, no, we're definitely set for Starfield. Let's put it that way, especially with the AMD support. Again, it's still weird to me that there's like exclusive graphics card support for games. Like this is a really, again, as not being a PCMR guy ever in my life, like when I started hearing about this stuff, I'm like, what? And so when Starfield came out and said that they were partnering with AMD, I'm like, this is dumb, but glad I got AMD. I got the best chance at having the best experience. So
we want those frames. We want those frames.
We want those frames. Yeah, correct.
Also, God's Geeks joined the speculators. I appreciate it, Cam. Good seeing you, bro. I appreciate you being here.
Yes, Cam.
Also, Anonymous Boss joined the speculators as well. Ooh. Appreciate you, Anonymous Boss. But then Anonymous Boss also sends the message, says, let's go Starfield, salute Mav and Pong and chat. Then it continues to give some gifteds as well with 10 Fun Speculation gifted memberships, bro. Appreciate you, everybody that is now a channel member. Welcome to the Speculators. Enjoy your emojis.
Absolutely. Thank you for the support. Yeah, I think, man, when we talk about the media, for me, again, I do believe that there's bias. Everybody's got bias. And again, the media,
yeah,
that's a whole other discussion because the media everywhere has changed at least to be more blatant in their bias. Everybody's a walking editorial now. It used to be that there was people and sites, and again, it's across all different places, doesn't matter what you're talking about, where the media you would find people, even if they had a bias, you could never tell because they would just report the facts and let you decide as the reader or listener. That's all changed now. That's gone. That's out the window. There are very few, if any, people who still do it that way because, especially now with clicks, as you were talking about, Mav, being this key to success for all these places. This is one thing that the internet and social media has brought about that is a terrible change in that engagement factor for media sites and how they earn their ad revenue and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. But does bias come through? Of course it does. Is bias shown? Absolutely. Is PlayStation considered the top dog in this industry outside of Nintendo? Again, Nintendo's separate. Leave Nintendo out of that conversation. Is PlayStation considered the top dog? Yeah. PlayStation is. Most people, a lot of people grew up on PlayStation, have owned multiple PlayStations in their life. And after last generation, a lot of people went back to PlayStation that maybe were playing on Xbox 360. So is that bias alive and well? Yeah, of course it is. That's what happens. It's a benefit of being king. A lot of people are going to back you up and love you, even when you're wrong. We see it all the time everywhere. So does that come through? Of course it does. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, it shows up. And again, Mav talked about IGN rant earlier this week, and kind of they're the big fish because they're easy to point to because they are the mass media for this industry in a lot of ways. That's where all the normies go to get their news coverage. And so we see it a lot more frequently. Is it going to affect Starfield? Here's my deal. I've gone back and forth on this too, but I'm in the firm belief that Bethesda is one of those studios, due to the past, due to their history, that does step outside the lines. And I believe that they are given more leeway with their games. And I think that will continue because as we've seen, the people bragging about receiving review codes, and again, I don't say that in any kind of negative light, I would be bragging too right now. These people are excited as hell. Almost to a T, every single person's been like, well, there goes my life. Oh, my significant other isn't going to see me for a long time. All of them. Why? Because again, these games don't come around from God Howard and the A-team very often. And you look at their past scores, and again, these are going to be PC scores because OpenCritic wasn't around for a lot of this stuff. So I just took it from Metacritic and I just took the basic scores, but they're all roughly in this area. 94 Skyrim, 94 Fallout, 94 Fallout 3, 91 for Oblivion 94, Skyrim 94, Fallout 3 91, Fallout 4 84. Fallout 4 is the first time that we saw the media, the critics step out a little bit and say, we don't like this per se. And there was reasons behind that because Todd and the team went away from their classic RPG. They got away from a lot of the decision-making, right, in the conversations that actually meant something. And they put a huge emphasis on base building, and that didn't hit with everybody, right? Todd and his team learned their lessons from Fallout 4. So you got a 94, a 94, a 91, and an 84. Todd has learned from that. They said specifically, we're going back to our roots with the RPGs. They brought back the conversation system that actually matters, that means something. In fact, they made a mini game again within the conversation system where you actually have points to spend to see how you can influence that conversation and decisions. I think that the media is going to fall back in love again. All those people, anybody who did have a problem with Fallout 4, and let's be real, as Fallout 4 has aged, more people look back on it more fondly than they did when it first dropped. I think they have been hungry for this game. I think they've been hungry for a Bethesda title. I think this is going to fill that hunger up and then some, according to everything that we're hearing, everything that we've expected, all of this goodness that we've been talking about for a long time, and that we witnessed with our own eyes in that 45-minute direct. That 45-minute direct set up a lot of the critics, a lot of the reviewers for what they were to expect of this game. And a lot of those people weren't shy about talking about how exciting and how great that direct was. So as long as that translates to real gameplay in the finished product that they're playing right now, they were already in a mood of favorability when it came to Starfield. I think they're looking for this in this year of fantastic games. Will it be easy for them to nitpick things? Of course, it could be easy. But also in this year of great games, could it be easy for them to continue that trend with another huge title from a lot of people's favorite studio in Bethesda and Todd Howard? Yep. It'll be very easy for them to say, my God, 2023 just continues. Look at Starfield. So I think it is not going to be affected by the Xbox bias. I do believe, like Mav said, that there will be a couple places that use Starfield to generate clicks, that will take the contrarian point of view, that will nitpick it to death. I do believe there will be a couple of those, but I believe Xbox and Bethesda both know it. Bethesda's, again, they're masters at this freaking game. They're masters at marketing, as we've already seen. They know what the hell they're doing. There are no slouches. Todd knows what's going to happen with his game. Todd knows the expectations on this game. They're going to give out a ton of these reviews, codes. I just saw, Mav, I don't know if you saw it, but I just saw on Twitter, Iron Lord's got one. King David's got it.
Nice.
Listen, they're going to spread this out. So we're not going to have a scenario that we've seen in the past. Now, how it's split between Xbox and PC doesn't really matter to me at the end of the day. Bethesda's a PC first dev studio. Okay. I don't care how they're owned by Xbox. Yes, they've gotten to be known obviously more and more on consoles as the decades have gone on. They basically, everybody knows that you play their games on console as well, but they're still a PC first. I don't care how that split is. I think they're going to give out a ton of codes, because the more codes you give out, man, I firmly believe they know they're going to potentially, if they have this much confidence in the game, which they've said nothing but confidence, and again, that direct showed it to you, that they're going to give out a ton of these codes. And the more codes you have, those few places that we know may potentially take out a hit piece on Starfield to get those clicks, they'll be drowned out. The score won't fluctuate that much because there's going to be so many reviews coming in. And so it'll stabilize those numbers. All that being said, Starfield is a gigantic, gigantic game, the biggest one that Bethesda has ever made in terms of scope. They have more mechanics, more things going on in this game than they've ever had in any of their games. Basically, they've combined everything that they've learned over the past 25 years and put it into this game. With that being said, when you create a sandbox like this and you give people the options that you're giving them in this gigantic universe, not every one of those mechanics, not every single one of those things that you've put in the game are going to hit for every single person, right? So people who are reviewing it, there's going to be people who love the entire game, but then there's going to be other people that like or loved 75% of the game, but then go, yeah, this part, the base building just wasn't my thing. Kind of like Fallout 4, just really wasn't my thing. I didn't get too much into it. Or pirating ships. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it so much. I didn't enjoy the space combat that much. You're going to have those people. It just gives more opportunity for people to find something to say, I wasn't into this part of the game, which is okay. Again, you're creating a game that very few studios, if any other studios, could ever make in their entire lifetime. That's okay. But what does that do for the score? A focused game like Baldur's Gate that has a very, very specific purpose, leans into it 1000%, but is really, really focused, has a better opportunity to get those 97s than a game like this. And again, Zelda's an outlier because it's freaking Nintendo. It's Zelda. I think Starfield, though, man, I'm close to you. I've been on this number for a long time, and I'm going to stick to it. I think it comes in at a 93. I think it has the potential to do a 95 to a 96 if they knock it out of the park completely 1000%. And this is the most polished Bethesda game. That's the other thing, man. If this truly is the most polished Bethesda game, all the older reviewers and critics who used to review previous Bethesda titles will instantly have it in their head. Holy shit, I'm getting very few bugs in this game. that's already a plus.
Right.
That's already a bonus, right? That will make it much easier for them to continue to plug this. So I think 93 with the potential for a 95 to 96. And it also has, I think, the potential to go the other way due to the size of the game, due to how many mechanics are in play, due to the possibility of some bugs being in there or some things that they didn't find initially that some of the reviewers find, or something happens where I could see an 89, an 88. I don't think there's any possibility that it goes to a Fallout 4 84.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think we're at the high 80s and above for sure, but I do think they hit another 90 plus here. That's where I would bet my money on right now.
It's interesting because I think like I know the ones that are going to be the contrarians who are going to like hyper focus on like individual aspects of the game, right? Because in a grand scope, ambitious game like this, like some things, not everything can be like the best out there in every category, right? So like if you look at like facial animations on some of the NPCs and compare it to like I saw like Paul Tassi had already made a tweet about that, saying like, oh, you know, people are going to be really like disappointed with the interactions of NPCs in Starfield if people get used to this Baldur's Gate 3, like things like that. And there's like, you can't really compare apples to apples because the scope of these games are so different, right? It's so intangibly different with the way that these games are made and stuff. So and that's just one aspect. Or like people will compare like Spider-Man's action or something or combat to like Starfield in a weird way or something like that, or you know, like, and that's something that is a problem with games media in general, is like the hyper focus of everything has to be like everything else, right? Instead of taking into the account of what this is. And I feel like there will probably be people that try and highlight or spotlight certain things to detract, right? And we already know that's going to exist on Twitter from the clown show, right?
Yes.
Like, it happened with Halo Infinite early on with the watermelons and stuff like that. You know,
everything.
it happens with all big first party releases, you know? So that's already going to exist. But if that permeates into the media trying to like, oh, but this aspect isn't as good as this game, but this aspect isn't as good as that game, but this aspect isn't as good as that game, not accounting that any of those other games, that is the core aspect of it, without regarding everything else that Starfield does, right? Hence why we had issues with the earlier comparisons to No Man's Sky and those kind of games. Not to take anything away from those games, but that's only one aspect of what Starfield is, right? And when you take that, okay, I can fly in space, or I can do this, or I can do that. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you do that in No Man's Sky too, but you're discounting the entire RPG of the game, you know? So like you're taking away what the fundamental aspects of the game are, and also discounting the fact that it does 20 million other things that a game like that doesn't do. So that's the issue that I have with some of the comments that you already see.
Yeah, let's stay here real quick. Let's stay here real quick, man. Now that you're on this comparison thing, let's stay here real quick because I was going to bring this up. Take him today.
Oh,
I don't get these legacy media people. I just don't get them. I just don't understand where they come. They've been in this industry too long. I swear to God, there's so many jaded freaking people in this industry. It's like, bro, this isn't entertainment.
Well, that guy is like a PlayStation.
I know he
fanboy
is. I know he is. But he still writes for PC Gamer. He still writes for the Washington Post, I believe, as well. But he puts out today, the irony is Larian released Baldur's Gate 3 early to avoid Starfield, which they did, and it was extremely smart on their part. When in reality, Starfield is the one that should be worried about Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is the greatest RPG I've ever played. And I think to myself, and you know, Jez shot in there and said underneath and said, I don't know, one is a shooter sci-fi and one is a fantasy turn-based tactical. There's some overlap, but there's also a lot of not overlap.
It's two different kind of games.
Yeah. And I gotta say to myself, did we have this conversation about Final Fantasy 16 right now in Baldur's Gate 3? No. Okay, well, people are still saying Final Fantasy 16 is an RPG, so why aren't we having the same conversation? Do we not understand, people, to your point, Mav, to everybody's point that does get it, that has common sense, there are different styles of RPGs out here, and these comparisons, again, I understand human nature goes, okay, well, this thing just came out and it's the greatest thing of all time, according to a lot of people. How's this next big thing going to compare? But do I honestly believe that like Todd and his team are worried about Baldur's Gate 3 getting great reviews, and that somehow Baldur's Gate 3's 97 on PC is somehow going to translate that reviewers look at Starfield when they're dogfighting in space, when they're boarding ships, when they're making cargo runs, when they're going through this gigantic narrative on the ground, and they're buying houses and cities and doing all these crazy things that you can do and exploring planets. Do you think they're honestly going to think to themselves, God, this is pretty cool, but Baldur's Gate 3 had that goblin sex going on. Wow. Like what? This is that.
This is coming from Baldur's Gate fans right here too, as well. It's like you can't. It's like why can't both be great?
Right, they can,
and both be different games and exist roughly around the same time. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's what 2023 has been all about.
Right.
That's what's made 2023 so amazing. I mean, you had games like in the last few months launch like one after another. I remember there was one day like Street Fighter 6 came out the same day as like two other big games too. It was like 3 games launched on like the same day that were all like massive and they all did really well. Like there's no
even within that genre, man. Think about that. Even within that genre, Street Fighter is at what, a 95, which is unheard of for a fighting game.
It's
right?
It's in the 90s. I don't remember exactly.
It's in the 90s. I think it's like a 95. I swear it's still a 95. Why don't we have even within that genre? We got Mortal Kombat 1 launching this year.
Mortal Kombat 1 should delay to next
should be
year.
Worried. You're right. Should be worried about Street Fighter because this is the best fighter I've ever played. Even in the same genre, which again we're kind of talking about, but they're two different style RPGs.
Right,
which
exactly.
But they're. Nobody does that because everybody understands that Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat are two different types of fighting games. Like, sure, they're both fighting games, but they're enjoyed in different ways from each other. Like, but that's why we don't get articles like that or comments like this. That's why I think this is so strange, man. So strange.
It's not when you take it to the Xbox part of it.
Yep.
Right? Like when you account people like Take Him and stuff like that have routinely just tried to go out of their way to shit on Xbox for the last few years. They all had the Xbox has no games narratives. And then when the Xbox has them, they don't want them to. Right? Then it's all of a sudden a problem. There's reason to be concerned. Or they should be other places as well. Right? And like you see that conversation permeate through that community now. Well, now that Xbox has these games that everybody else wants, well, it's not okay because they're the third place team. Like, why should they get that? Why shouldn't it go to PlayStation where it has more people, right? Well, guess what? The Xbox ecosystem actually has more users than PlayStation's does, right? That may be hard to fathom, but between the PC and consoles and stuff, that's a reality. So you can take that for what it is, but you can look at, well, this game exists. I need to play it. I want to play it. How do you play it? There's numerous ways you can play it now. You can play it in the cloud. You can get an Xbox. You can play it on PC or whatever. There's no use for all this stupid drama and trying to knock something down off of its pedestal because it belongs to be there, right? Starfield belongs in this position. They deserve it. Todd Howard
still needs to justify itself for existing next to No Man's Sky.
Todd Howard is one of the GOATs. He has the nickname God Howard for a reason, right? Yeah. If you are an RPG fan, if you're a fan of big, grand scope, adventure-based games, period, even if you're not into RPGs, some people play a game like Fallout or Skyrim and don't even really consider themselves playing an RPG because they're just so enveloped in the world and the story that they're just lost in it and they don't care about the genre. This is a genre. This is a game that goes in beyond genres, right? This is a game that transcends that. This is a game that appeals to lots of different kinds of gamers, right? And this is going to appeal to the space nut. It's going to appeal to the RPG fan. It's going to appeal to the shooter fan. It's going to appeal to the people that like story-based games. It's going to appeal to so many different kinds of gamers. And as a reason, it's getting that attention. Now, if you want to take the approach of going on social media or whatever and try and find some reason it doesn't belong there, then maybe you should take a look at yourself and realizing you're just being a negative asshole and trying to ruin other people's experience. And that's all it amounts to. Now, you may not be as excited as other people are, or you may be like, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is the best game ever, and so, I'm concerned about Starfield. When you were never really interested in the damn game in the first place, you're just trying to throw shade out there to diminish it to other people, right? And that is the main thing that you see now. Because you don't got it on where you want to play it, now you have to diminish its value to the other people that are super excited and ready for that game to be where they want to play it, right? So you can look at it and say, I'm an asshole. I'm going to try and make everybody else feel like shit. Or you can just stay quiet, shut the fuck up, and let other people enjoy their experience.
Yep. Not in 2023.
And if you apply for a review code and you don't get one, oh well. You know what I mean? Like, I will say, like, there's a couple people probably that are bitter that they didn't get review codes, that are also probably trying to permeate that concern as well. People that may be known in these community streets as being a little one-sided as well, trying to raise that concern we had earlier about how many people are actually getting these codes. Well, just because you didn't get one doesn't mean a lot of other people aren't. Maybe there's a reason you didn't get one because of your way you kind of behave and stuff and act and talk, right? So it's really interesting to see all this stuff now, man. I can't wait for it. But dude, it's like, let people enjoy, and if you can't, just be quiet. That's all you gotta do
these days, man. Not in 2023, brother. We can't have it. We just can't. We can't have this stuff. It's not allowed. If you're not on the platform of my choosing, if you're not playing the game that I think you should be enjoying, then I've got to try to tear you down. It's a sad state of affairs in this community for sure. And again, we're the 1%. We see the nonsense in this community, and it's crazy. But again, these legacy media types, why are you here? If you don't enjoy gaming as a whole, why the hell do you write about it? Go do something else. I don't understand that.
Try and suck the soul out of people and just draw negative attention to something. It's something you learn early on when you like really become a part of this community, right? It's like, well, you see like the typical people that are always doing the same action, and why let that negativity affect anything? But what happens is, they're those contrarians. They're the ones that are trying to draw out the negatives, trying to spotlight negatives to diminish other people's excitement and bring them down to their level, because at the end of the day, really, they're just miserable assholes, right?
Yep,
that
correct.
Hate themselves and want other people to hate everything that they enjoy as well.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So that's kind of what you see. And when you start realizing that this person is always negative about something that everybody else is always excited for, and it's always the big things. It's always the things that like draw the most attention. It's always the things that draw the most hype. And if you're against Xbox or you hate Xbox, whatever, it's always the most attention-getting Xbox things. And those people just feel so shitty about themselves that they have to go try and make other people feel like they do. And that's what the reality is. When you see that attention, that it's just realize and feel sorry for them. Feel sorry for how miserable their lives must be to have to constantly, always trying to make people look at the world in such a negative light, because that's what they see when they look in the mirror.
Correct. Sound a lot like my rants, Mav, where I said they got something missing in their lives and they got to bring people down. The energy demons are everywhere. And they have all types of faces. It's crazy. It's crazy, Mav. We're not done with Starfield, man. We're not done with Starfield. This is why we started on Starfield. Again, expect a lot of conversation next week. And then just a heads up, everybody, while we got nearly 250 people in chat, by the way. Thank you all for tuning into PM and the PM Pong and Mav and the PM every Thursday night right here on the Fun Speculation Network. Thank you. Appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like button, please do. Again, we've seen incredible growth for this channel here over the past few months because of people like you doing the small things and just clicking the like button. And if you got an extra second, could share it out as well, please. But while we, I was going to mention while we got everybody here too, Starfield launch day for the United States is August 31st. So we figured it out, Mav and I, we got about an hour of PM and the PM prior to Starfield launching. Now, you guys know Mav and I are gamers first, right? We love podcasting. We love being here with you guys every night, but we're gamers first. And again, Starfield, one of our most anticipated titles in the past decade or more is Starfield. So we're going to be playing immediately on launch, but we are going to have an hour kind of lead up show to launch point. And I think Mav's going to go live with a stream. At that point, I might go live with a stream. We'll see what I got going on too, but we're going to be playing Starfield, but we are going to have an hour show that week. So August 31st, get ready for that because we are going to do early launch. So, but Mav, this week, on top of all the Starfield stuff going on, gold, review codes going out and advertising, marketing ramping up
everywhere.
Everywhere. We're seeing Starfield conversations nonstop. They also did a Q&A this week, a question and answer system through their Discord channel. Now, I forgot all my notes. I had them all at work. I actually snuck, like I listened to the whole thing. Like I was watching somebody stream it live and I was actually watching the answers. I was taking notes on every single answer because they answered 16 different questions during this Q&A. And it was Will, and I forget their last name, so forgive me, guys. I had it all in my notes, but I forget. But Will and Emil from the team were answering a question and answering session. So we got this, and it was questions from the community that they took. Got to say, I would have liked some tougher questions, but we did get some really good information, Mav. I know you didn't get a chance to listen to the Q&A or watch the Q&A, whatever you want to call it. But we did get some breakdowns from some people. So let me start with Clobril here. I think he covered it the best out of anybody. I'll flip to maybe somebody else too and just see if we missed anything here. But these are some of the highlight points from this Q&A session for Starfield. Number one, there's housing in all the major cities the player can get. Some you have to purchase, and some are rewards for specific quests. And they highlighted one. They wouldn't say where it's at, but they specifically said there's one that you got to earn. You got to really earn. Mav, housing. What do you think, brother? We get houses on top of owning spaceships, on top of being able to build our own homes, bases on planets. We're also going to be able to buy like houses, apartments, whatever they're going to be. You down with housing? You down with buying things in cities and stopping by your house and checking it out?
I need to have somewhere to put all my space drugs. So like,
right. You're going to be the drug dealer.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, dude, it's going to turn and it's got to be a front, right? My space real estate empire will be just a front. You know, I said it's going to be the Walter White of space, right? So
yeah, you and your Aurora, you're going to be the Aurora dealer.
That's got to have some place to manufacture it. Got to make sure the ventilation's good, all that, you know. So yeah, I'll be definitely, man. Like they gotta. Yeah. So it's in the different cities, right? You can buy
all the major cities, all the major cities.
You can also make your own bases on different planets.
Correct.
Also, right?
Correct. Yep.
So I mean, we're gonna have so much property, bro. It's gonna be insane.
Real estate moguls are getting added to our title.
Yeah, it'll be Aurora. It'll be Aurora Real Estate Company, probably.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll have my realtors, you know, go around. They'll be
sure.
Realtors,
why not?
Like recruit them. You know, they'll be going all over space, and their little Aurora like branded ships, and you know, they're really just expanding my Aurora drug empire behind the scenes. You know, no, but for sure, I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
really into that stuff. You know, like it's something I did in Fable a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
I did it in Cyberpunk.
houses.
You could buy apartments everywhere too.
Yeah.
And I did that. I bought all the apartments in Cyberpunk. So,
yeah. Own the universe. Why not?
You can store stuff there. Usually that's usually the case, right? And we've done it in Skyrim, right? Obviously. So Skyrim, you could own houses. Like, I mean, again, this is nothing new for them. It was just great that they confirmed, because somebody that we hadn't talked about this yet. But there are going to be places for you to buy, and actually a couple, one at least, maybe a couple that you can earn through quests. So I can't wait to see these places. I'm very curious how these are all going to look different and that kind of stuff. Speaking of your drug dealing, Mav, I got a couple points of interest for you, Mr. Walter White. Certain items are considered contraband, and you'll need to smuggle them past security ships that are in orbit of major settlements. You can hide them using special ship modules, upgrades. They also mentioned, I think it was a meal that said something about those illegal body parts that you're carrying. So yes, I'm sure Aurora is going to be one of these contrabands, Mav, but also we're maybe talking about illegal body parts we're smuggling in. Like, it sounds like they're going to have a variety of different contraband, and they did confirm that it will be ship upgrades that help you hide them from the major ports. So they said when you enter star systems and you first come across, which we saw obviously in the trailer, that's why this first came up, but they did confirm that you're going to have the ability to upgrade your ships and hide this stuff a la Han Solo. So Walter, you're going to need to upgrade your ship here. So
I mean, it sounds like they already took me into account when designing the game, right? So I'm super excited about that. You know, they already got my hidey holes and everything ready built in. I just got to make sure I upgrade it, get past security, you know, go smuggle the stuff in. We're good to go, man. Maybe I'll have somebody at each port, you know, just in my pocket. As well. Who knows? Yeah, dude, possibilities are endless. It's so funny cool. Though that like I just was joking and made that up like a couple weeks ago, and now you're talking about there's actually a module you can smuggle stuff with in your ships. Right. Yeah, so they take all these different things into account. It's hilarious.
They thought about it. Yeah. Got Emperor Sophocate. Shout out to you, brother. He says, LOL, organ harvesting. Yeah. I was going to mention that when they said that, I was like, people we kill, are we going to be able to harvest organs off of them? Like, are we going to be able to take body parts, or is this going to be like containers that we eventually find that we can transport? I'm curious to see. Also, Mav, speaking of the same scenario, if you commit a crime, much like other Bethesda games, you can elect to go to jail or pay a fine. Now, they didn't talk about how this works in space. This sounded like they were directly talking about when you're in the cities. So if you're murdering a bunch of people or, you know, stealing a bunch of stuff, yes, they will have guards, just like other Bethesda games. I can't wait. This stuff is just so funny. Oh my God.
Pickpocket messes I used out of the guard's pocket as they walk by your cell, you know,
the messes. And Grub, shout out to Grub Rub. He tweeted, because we know he got his review copy. He tweeted like an hour, 2 hours later, Mav, that said, any game that allows you to go to jail and then break yourself out of jail is already a perfect 10 out of 10. So it sounds like he already experienced this, or he tried it already just to get curious. So if you commit a crime, you can elect to go to jail or pay a fine when you're arrested, or even resist arrest and try to escape. Some of my favorite moments in Skyrim is resisting arrest and causing mass chaos. There's civilization, there's government, and there's laws, is something that they pointed out. Again, man, we talked about Bethesda games being on a different level from a lot of games, and this being the first one that God has created from the ground up, like these and his team, of course, but God Howard's hands. This is the lore that they've created, is brand new lore that's never been talked about in anything else before. Whereas Fallout, Elder Scrolls, there was already base lore, a lot of it created from other teams. This is the first one he's created from the beginning. So they're doing this all fresh. So they pointed out there's civilizations, there's government, there's laws. And in fact, I also remember from my notes that they pointed out that they have specific missions or scenarios that you're going to be playing through that are going to expand upon those ideas. So they're going to deep dive some of this stuff. when it comes to those different branches that they have within these systems and these different cities, because they're going to be different from each other depending on who you're dealing with. But yeah, Mav, breaking yourself out of jail is a possibility, it sounds like.
Yeah, may have to do that a time or two.
You're probably going to have to do that a time or two. I do not doubt it. All of the playable factions can be completed independently. I do believe this was confirmed earlier than this, but somebody asked about it, and they did confirm that all the playable factions can be completed independently. They also, let me do a side note here. Somebody asked them about the different factions and what each one represented, specifically the religious factions. They said that they have real world religions from like real life in there that people are a part of. But then they have these made up factions like the snake cult. I forget what they're called, Varun or Vanu. I can't remember offhand. And then they've got the other ones that are basically atheists that don't believe in anything. And then they've got a whole separate faction that believes that space travel is actually God's gift to humans and brings them, they believe in a godlike entity. And they believe that space travel is a gift from God that brings them closer to God when they space travel, and eventually, and God is inviting us to go find him or her, whatever you want to say, them, out there. And so they talked about this, and it sounded like, again, when it comes to lore, we're getting fleshed out like a lot. Like, so this stuff excites the hell out of me to learn more about this. Let's see here. There are over 20 named characters that can join your crew, Mav.
20 so companions, we know that's pretty good.
Yeah, we talked about the 4, right, from Constellation, which we knew about, and only the 4 are romanceable, but there's a total of more than 20 named characters who could join your party. All of these have their own background, strengths and weaknesses, and story. They specifically said that we learned from our previous games how important companions were to people, so they put a huge focus on making this big group of companions that you can have, and these are going to be the companions that can travel with you on your ships, that you can send to your bases, etc. And they said that they really wanted to make these believable characters because people fell in love with companions from all their other games, so much so. So this was kind of a big deal because we had never heard this number thrown out there. 20. What do you think about that, man? Over 20, they said.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's quite a bit, bro. Like, it's impressive. Is going to be a lot of variety there, probably, because, you know, sometimes like these games like have like 2 or 3 or whatever, and it's like, if you don't like any of them, then it's, well, okay, just screw off, leave me alone, right? But 20 companions really is going to bring some for everybody to do whatever they want with, send them to fight along with, or be on the ship crew potentially, or, you know, be the boss of one of your bases, and just it's really just like everything you learned about this game just gives you like ideas upon ideas that you realize that new things are possible that you may have not thought about before.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
That's the most exciting thing with all this stuff.
It really is. It really is. Again, the sandbox flavor here is nonstop with Bethesda. I just absolutely love it. I just can't wait to see. Also, they talked about too, this wasn't on here, but I do remember this as well. We saw in the 45-minute direct that the companions have their own skills that they come with. They confirm that you can't level up your companions. But those skills that they do have, if you have a skill yourself that matches one of theirs and it's applicable to a certain situation, that those 2 skills will stack. So your companions can add to your own skill set depending on what they are. Not every skill will do that, but they will be. Let's say you've got skills in some of the ship flying, and you bring somebody on board that is also really great at ship flying, those will stack for you. So there will be some of that, but again, characters can't be leveled up per se. They kind of come set how they are. The other thing that I also remember, Matt, going back to the like the contraband and stuff. Somebody also asked about the economy and about setting up. Remember, they talked about you can have cargo ships running back and forth between bases. You can kind of create an economy. They did talk about that a little bit. They confirmed that it is only in real game time. So only while you're playing the game will that be. It's not like offline mode where you're getting credit for that. And they also did confirm, which some people are disappointed about, and I understand, this is where mods are going to come in, and we're going to be playing. There's going to be a whole different hardcore Starfield eventually down the road when mods finally get done with this game. That is going to be totally different from what the game comes out at. But they confirmed that the economy, so like the value of those goods that you are transporting back and forth and maybe selling, those are set in price and they will not fluctuate. We know there's a lot of games out there that do this where you can sell in Everspace 2 has got an economy.
Yeah, as things become more rare or whatever.
Rare and that kind of stuff. That it's not going to happen in Starfield. So they said they didn't want to. They said with how much you are doing in this game and with everything that you've got to think about, there were certain systems and mechanics that they wanted to simplify so that you weren't overwhelmed having to remember all this stuff. So they said this was one of them. So they set the economy. It is what it is. Now they did confirm through different skill sets that you can acquire, right? It's different skill traits that you can have. You can increase those prices or decrease those value of those certain items. They also said there can be initial negotiations with somebody when you're trading with them, which you can influence the negotiation process. They also confirmed with the companions too. I'm remembering all this stuff. Again, I told you guys, I was writing this stuff down. I'm one of those people that when he writes stuff down, I remember a lot more because I picture it in my head. They also confirmed with the companions, somebody asked, you have to pay your companions a salary monthly. And they said, no, that's another mechanic that they didn't want people to have to worry about. So you will pay your companions one time, an upfront fee, which also could be negotiated if you have the skills to do so. So your companions' cost will be a one-time fee, and that's all you ever have to worry about it. Like I said, when modders get a hold of this, Mav, we're going to have fuel management. We're going to have full entire economies. We're going to have a lot more companions that we're going to be able to choose from. It's going to get crazy, brother. It's going to get crazy.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Let me see if there was anything else I missed. That was all Clobrio had and my own memory of some of the important stuff. Let me see if Okami Games has got anything. Shout out to Okami Games as well. Always doing good work out here as well. I like his stuff. Jail system, all factions. Nope. He had the same stuff. So it was a pretty good lineup. Everything you're hearing, Mav. Again, it was a short Q&A session, 16 questions. You liking it? It's just expanding more. You're just thinking more of the possibilities, right? Of what we're gonna be able to do.
I mean, I'm just thinking like how I'm gonna smuggle the stuff. Like, yeah, that's all I'm thinking. Like, where do I go? Where do I go to get started with the drug? But like, how do I learn about manufacturing or like about obtaining enough? And like I'm sure there's probably a recipe or something. You know, like. It's going to be like interesting. Like I'm thinking about all the ways I'm going to try and play this game. And, you know, you got the companions, you know, you got all these different aspects of real estate, you know? So like, I'm thinking, okay, like front house, you know, with a companion running it. That's like for storage, you know, that's like a halfway checkpoint that you can use to like stop off and maybe give a better route for smuggling to another planet or something. And then, you know, another house for storage closer to the probably planet where you're actually manufacturing at. That's like great for ingredients, right? You got a base set up there that's like hidden away. You know, you got a couple companions there set to guard it, right? And maintain like security over it and stuff.
Correct.
And then, you know, you got like your runs that you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm thinking about how all this is gonna, and then I'm thinking like, what effect does it have if like I start taking this and selling it more at like certain planets or certain like bases? That'd be crazy. There's an effect where you start to see everybody start to get addicted to it and have an effect on the population and stuff.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, man. It's like there's so much things to think about with this game, and that's just one way you could play it. That's just a crazy ass thing we thought up because Sourblow Gaming said I was going to be a scientist in this game. So I like, I just took it to a different level with the scientist approach. But like, there's so many different ways you can play, man. And it's like, you know, you're going to be, you know, space pirate. You're going to be looking for those ships traveling and stealing and stuff like that. And that's stuff you're probably going to have to smuggle as well. Like, this is a game that it takes everything that we love about the Bethesda RPGs and opens it up to even more possibilities than we ever really felt possible before.
Correct. Yep.
And that's out of everything else, regardless of the setting it's in, regardless of anything. That's the most exciting thing for me, is taking that core Bethesda RPG experience and expanding upon it in a way that we've never seen. And that's
Correct.
And we've never seen anything like this in gaming before. I don't think really people realize that. Like,
yep,
the kind of scope that this game has, the ambition that it has, with the amount of possibilities and options you're going to have to make your own experience in this game, like as big as it is in scale. You haven't really seen that before. You have grand space games, right? You have other things, but that's just, it's not the same. It's not what the core components of living out the lifestyle of how you want to play is what is going to make this a special experience. To every single person that plays, will have a different game. Like, amazing.
100%, especially with the procedural generated stuff. Eastside brought up a good point, and then I remember another one as you were talking as well too, Matt. Eastside said that don't forget that they are keeping the voice actors for the companions secret until launch. They pointed this out, Matt. Do you remember that rumor last year? I think it was the beginning of last year, that Tom Cruise was in Starfield.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember that, bro?
Yes.
He specifically said this in the Q&A, that they can't wait for us to find out who the voice actors are.
Oh my God. What if it
Can
was
you
like
imagine?
this crazy A-list? It's not just more than Tom Cruise.
Yes.
It was like,
right. It's a bunch of A-list actors in there.
Like Ryan Reynolds and like, I was just trying to think.
That'd
like,
be so great, man.
Man.
It got me going, man, when I heard that too. Thank you, Eastside, for bringing that up as well. And then the other thing I did remember, man, they also talked about, because we had this question. I think I brought this question up because when they showed the animated shorts, they had mechs in the war, right? The colony war. They had mechs, and I said, what happens if you get a mech? Somebody specifically asked about this. The mechs have been outlawed at this point. And they said all the mechs, and somebody did a follow-up question and asked, can we find a working mech? And they said, no, they're all destroyed. But they talked about a factory or a battlefield, a leftover battlefield, where you will come across a bunch of these mechs that were in these wars. And they also brought up another side. I forget if it was the United Colonies or if it was the Freedom People. One side was mech heavy. Both sides had mechs, but one side was mech heavy. But the other side, Mav, this is part of the lore. And I'm curious if that's part of the skills that we've got when it comes to this. You'll know what I'm talking about. One side had a special group dedicated to using alien life forms in battle. And so they were like training like the alien monsters to fight with them, whatever you want to call them.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah, they used them like Starship Troopers, right? Like they learned how to control the different species, and we're actually more heavy into that and use them in the battles against the mechs. And we saw, obviously in the direct and stuff, that you can control some of the creatures if you get that skill. Remember, you can mind control them. So
I would think that would be, it's the Freestar Collective and United Colonies, right?
Yeah.
So I would think the Freestar Collective would probably be the ones that relied more on the nature side, right?
Yep.
And then I would think, but this was without me knowing everything, like I would think the United Colonies would have relied more on the military tech and stuff like that, right? So based on resources, right? Based on the lore that was available on the website. So that's what I'm thinking, but who knows exactly?
Yeah, and that was another thing too. And you guys covered this. We don't have to go through because I know you read the whole thing during FSP, which was awesome. But they did launch a history leading up to where we jump into Starfield. Oh, that was another thing too, Matt. See, my memory's clicking tonight. They confirmed that everybody. Yeah, I got a couple things. My God, see, this is what happens when I write stuff down. I love it. It comes back to me. Everybody starts in the same spot, no matter your background, no matter what your traits are. Everybody starts in the same spot. Okay. So when you start the game, they also did confirm too, as well, that you can take background traits if you want to, but there's also an anonymous way to go where you don't have any background and you don't have any traits. So you can choose to do that. They also talked about, somebody asked them about making a pacifism run, which some people like to do in these games. They said that they can't confidently, there's no way to confidently say that you can go the entire game without killing somebody. They said that they have given you lots of options to not use violence, to talk your way out of situations. You can talk your way out of a lot of situations. They've also given you a lot of non-lethal weapons and items to use as well. But they said still, if you're talking about a full pacifism run, you can't, they said that, no, they can't say that you can do that.
Right.
That there will be points where you do have to kill somebody or something. So, but just, I know some people are really interested in that stuff. That's obviously not me. I'm guns blazing, bro. I'm going in. I'm killing everything. All right. Especially as a pirate. I don't care. But some people are really into that kind of run. I know it's big on streaming too. A lot of people like to watch those streams. So, but that's what they said about a couple of things there. But yeah, they gave this background, this history on everything leading up timeline wise to the point that you enter Starfield. And I thought that was extremely cool. Bethesda always does this stuff. Man, I need a book. I need a Starfield book. I need a lore book. They've done them for their other games in the past, some incredible books, and I need a full fleshed out art book because I want both of those. But this lore that they seem to be writing, Mav, seems, again, to be Bethesda on another level. Again, they're handcrafting this stuff from the get-go. There's no lore for Starfield until now.
Right.
So it's kind of cool.
And Jasper's correcting me. Leave it to Lord Jasper, the actually guy in
the other
chat.
The other way around.
The one that exposed IGN last week or earlier this week, actually.
He's probably gaming right now too, and he takes the time to come in and go, actually,
Mav, it's the other way around. You know, it's the Freestar Collective that used mechs, and it's the United Colonies that used the aliens. Thanks, Jasper. Appreciate it, bro.
David Gray in the chat. Hey, shout out to you, David Gray. Says, hope they have a mission like Ridley Scott's Alien movie, where truckers in space find a beacon. I'm sure we're gonna run into a bunch of different things. If you guys don't remember, Pete Hines actually talked about this down during the showcase. Who did he talk to? Was it Colt? I think it was Colt that he talked to down there. And Pete said that there was one time where he found a derelict ship in space and wound up spending like 3-4 hours exploring the ship.
Right.
Yo. So yeah, I think there'll be plenty of opportunity for those kind of moments, David Gray, for sure. Shout out to Fastback, brother Chris jumping in here, part of the NLG podcast. Good to see you, brother Chris. I think we're set up, Mav, for, again, a never kind of almost, not literally, but a limitless type scenario where you could be in this game for hundreds of hours and still not see everything, right? It's going to be near impossible. All the random stuff that happens in space, again, you can hail anybody that you come across in space and have full of conversations or board them. Like, there's going to be so much to this game that hundreds of hours in, we're not even going to see it. And I saw somebody else in chat. Who was it? Sorry, I missed it. It was a little bit earlier too, Mav, and I want to ask you about this. Going back just for a moment to the reviews. And I kind of mentioned this in the beginning when we first started talking about the review codes going out. Wanted to get your thoughts on this too. 2 weeks for most people getting review codes right now, Mav.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks. If they put in 40 hours a week, which is a full-time gig, again, most of these people have lives. Now, some of them will probably put in more. Some of them, though, probably will have less time. Let's just say 80 hours. Let's say you're maxing out, right? 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You're playing Starfield. You get 80 hours in. They said the mainline story is like around 40, 45 hours, I want to say, as they said, if you mainlined it, if you followed the golden path, as they call it. Somebody in chat said, well, if they do just the mainline, most of them should be able to have a review for this game. I hope they don't do that, because that's 1/10 of what Starfield is. And I don't want just reviews based upon the main line, but I wanted to get your opinion here, Matt. Come August 31st, when the embargo lifts, and obviously we're all going to be excited to be reading what everybody's got to say about this game. We'll be getting our hands on it later that night. For you, ma'am, are you going to be disappointed if we don't have full scored reviews after 2 weeks? Or are you going to be okay with it if people come in with their reviews in progress, which I already heard some people or saw, I should say, on Twitter, some people stating that that's what their reviews are going to be on August 31st. It will be a review in progress at that point.
Yeah.
I know we saw this with Baldur's Gate. A lot of scores came in a week after it dropped, or 3 days, 4 days after it dropped. But Baldur's Gate 3, I mean, they gave them the codes. Like, I can't believe some people finished the game or actually experienced everything in Baldur's Gate 3. So for you, Matt, where do you line up on August 31st? Are you going to be disappointed if we don't get a lot of scores and we just see, a smattering of them? Or are you going to be cool with that and just say, hey, I totally understand. I want a full review. I want a really fleshed out number that you guys spent a lot of time in this game. Again, I don't know if anybody can, even after 100 hours, say that they saw a lot of Starfield. Maybe 200 hours, not even enough yet. Where are you at with that?
Well, this is a reason why I wouldn't personally want to review Starfield. For me, like I wouldn't even put a request for it or anything for review.
You and I would be impossible.
I couldn't do it. Like, for me, it would be a curse as opposed to an opportunity, right? Because it would inherently change the way I approach the game, which I don't want to happen, right? Because in these games, especially these Bethesda games, I honestly never, I think I beat Fallout 3, I beat Fallout New Vegas 2, but besides those, like, I usually don't beat them. I live in them, right?
Correct.
Like, exactly. I start playing, and then I have my adventure, and I just go off and create my story, and I lose track of the main campaign. I just, like, lose interest in it. Like, I just play my way, and that's what I love most about these games, right? Now, the main story is there for you to fall back on always and stuff like that, but, like, it's very interesting because, like you said, the main campaign is just one aspect of it, and, like, to have to review and play it that way to make sure you get finished in time to be able to not only finish the game in 2 weeks, but also be able to have time to write the review, have it go into editing and all that stuff in time to meet the August 31st deadline. I think this is a reason why some of the bigger outlets have already had the game, maybe, why we've already started to see some rumblings and stuff like that, because they do want some reviews to drop, like, when the game on the day that early access goes live. But I think most people, you're going to find a mix. You're going to have some people that say, well, you don't need to finish a game to review it. And a game like this, it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something to that, but, like, also, I do feel like in the game like this, also the main story has to be a part of a critical review for sure.
For sure.
So I would think you'd want to, but, like, I wouldn't, as a reviewer, I wouldn't want to finish it. So if I had time to, what I would do is I would mainline it, and then I would keep my save for before that you finish the game. Right. But there's probably lots of like, you probably can just keep playing it anyway. But I would go and then experience everything else, I guess, after I mainlined it. And that would at least give me enough to say at some point, like, you've experienced enough to justify giving it a score, right?
Yep.
I would just hate to be in that position, right?
So, you're going to be okay the 31st if there's not a whole lot of scores, if there's a lot of reviews in progress?
I want the people to have integrity behind their review scores, right? Now, to each reviewer, that might mean something different, right? To what their criteria is or what they feel like they need to justify giving a score to them, right?
Correct.
But I want them to have integrity. I don't care about the amount, because really that's the only reason that's an issue, is because the ambitious scope of the game, right?
Yep.
So at that point, like, what do you send out review copies like a month early, 2 months early? Like, then at that point you're risking, like, certain things and bugs and all those other aspects taking a hit on your reviews as well. So for me, it's just like, hey, just deal with whatever people are able to give the scores, and don't sacrifice an ambition or anything like that, and don't send out things earlier than you're ready to, and just let the chips fall where they may. Baldur's Gate 3, highly praised, like we talked about earlier, one of the highest reviewed games of all time now, and it barely had any reviews at launch.
Correct. Yeah. There was like 12, I think, something like that.
Yeah, and they came out like after the game came out. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yes. But they got theirs a lot later too.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's still a massive, like we talked about. Like, I just went into Act 2, which I forget how many acts there are. I think maybe like 4, 5. I don't know. The Jasper let me know, because I never even looked it up.
3 or 4. I think.
3 or 4, maybe. So I'm 46 hours in. I went into Act 2.
Right.
So, like, the scope of that game, and even if I finish it and play all the way through and get my ending or whatever, that's still not experiencing all the content in the game, because every playthrough you have with a different character and everything you do can have a completely different experience, right? So it's going to be interesting. What I'm going to be interested in is to see how these reviewers play the game, what their path was, right? Like, like, what did they do? Like, what kind of character were they?
And that's going to differ for everybody. That's
single
the whole
person,
thing.
right?
People are going to experience things outside of the golden path, the main story. People are going to experience things differently from everybody else. They've already said it. Everybody's going to have a different fingerprint. So, I mean, again, reviews, somebody could have found something that nobody else found, and it could have changed your total perspective on part of the game, right? This is going to be tough, man. This is going to be real tough.
Yeah. I mean, people figured it out with Skyrim, right? And gave it's the same boat.
Different
kind
nowadays
of,
too.
Yeah,
it's different nowadays. Like, again, even Fallout 4, social media wasn't what it is today, and the conversations aren't the same. And there's more reviewers and critics now than there ever has been in this industry. So you get a lot of different voices with a lot of different experiences. But this game, like I said, everybody's going to be completely different. Like, how they got from point A to point D is going to be different for everybody.
Which, it's interesting knowing how many reviewers have come out and say that they don't finish games to leave review scores, right? So, like, I know it's a thing that's many of them find it completely acceptable, right?
Yes.
And for me, it's like, if it's got a mainline story, I feel like it probably needs to be finished in order to give a score, right? But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this, because it's going to be so massive in scope. Randall Thor 19 just hit us with $10. Appreciate you, Rand. Said,
what's going on, Rand?
Mav, less than 1 hour till I am playing Starfield. Let's freaking go. Let's
hate
go,
you,
Rand.
Rand, you dropped $10 to brag.
Rub it in.
And rub it in my face.
But
you couldn't have grabbed an extra code for me?
It's
really, Rand?
It's a curse, though, that he has to review this game, right?
Is it a curse that he has to review the game?
But Rand plows through games like crazy anyway.
Yeah,
so
Rand always plows. Like, Rand, yeah. Rand, it's no big deal. Like, no, he's going to be fine. Rand will be fine. And if I had to review this game, knowing that I got to play it early and knowing that that would be my, like, unofficial run, it would just be my review run, could I do it just to get access to it early? Yes, I think I could control myself, because I know I'd be firing up another character right after I got done with the review, right? And I'd be starting from scratch as just a fan and doing it my way. So I think I could probably do it. But shout out to you, Rand. Congrats on it, brother. It's just giving you a hard time, as you always know.
If he's even reviewing it, I don't know. Maybe he just got lucky and they just
maybe
love
just got
him so
lucky.
much. And give him a code.
Yeah, but if you are Rand, I'm extremely jealous. You know how much I love Bethesda. You know how much I've been looking forward, and Mav and us Marchers, we're looking forward to Starfield. So I appreciate you jumping here, though, brother. It's freaking awesome that community members are getting it too. I think it's great. I think it's really fantastic.
It's awesome to see.
It is.
All these people get to play. You know.
Don't sound so excited, man. It's really freaking.
I'm really happy.
Great.
I'm really happy for you, Rand.
Really happy.
Congratulations, bud.
Deserve it. Deserve it all, Rand.
You deserve your Starfield key earlier than me.
For sure.
That's for sure.
Love you, Rand. He said I was not expecting to get it early. Oh,
Wow.
So you were gifted. Can you tell them that you lost yours, Rand, and say I just need another one, please? Right. I'd be forever in your debt, sir. All right. Man, over 2 hours on freaking Starfield. Bro. We knew it. Is there anything else that you want to talk about Starfield? Is there anything I missed, Mav? Any topics that you want to touch on?
Man, Rand has Starfield. And
yeah, I know. I'm trying to ignore it. I'm trying to ignore it right now. I'm trying to move on.
An hour.
We just talked about for 2 hours how hyped we are for this freaking game. And then Rand just jumps in here. Oh, I wasn't expecting the code, guys, but it's great. I got sent it.
Oh man. I love you, Rand. It's awesome, bro. Congrats. Let's go. What did you say?
I said we've been talking about Starfield for over 2 hours. Did I miss any parts of Starfield topics this week that you wanted to hit on at all?
No, I don't think so. I'm kind of done talking about Starfield now for the short term. Yeah, we'll move on to something else, I guess.
Rand, DMs are open, brother. Not saying, just saying that screenshots are acceptable.
Yeah.
Just saying, don't need video. Screenshots will do. All right. Let's see here. All right. Well, we did have some other stuff to talk about as well. On top of Starfield, Spooky, we kind of talked. I think we talked about Stalker 2 last week. Did we touch on it? I think we touched on it last week. Mav, was that news not last week or was that this week? I always get my weeks mixed up. December 1st is a supposed rumored date for Stalker 2, and it will be a Gamescom.
Yeah, I think we touched on it at the end of FSP this week.
Oh,
maybe.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, but like very little. Like only for a tiny bit.
Oh, time to bust out that Starfield controller while playing Starfield. LOL.
Oh my God.
Love you more, brother. Love
you got the Starfield headset too, Rand?
Yeah.
He's probably got the watch already early too.
He probably got the watch early too. They probably sent them the whole thing. They're just like, here, have every edition.
He probably has a Starfield Xbox that like they didn't only made just for him, right?
Like Stallion was showing off his Titanfall one this week that only the Titanfall devs got. Yeah,
right.
That was great too. So Stalker 2 coming to Gamescom, rumored date December 1st. Again, as we've always said, don't care when Stalker 2 launches. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a negative light. I'm saying the devs take as much time as they need it. They need to, I understand completely if they need to get this game out the door, because obviously financially, time, family, everything that they've gone through to get to this point, the fact that they're even still making this game is a freaking miracle in itself. Literally, I know people like to say it's a miracle that we get games at all. I think that's all BS. It's a job at the end of the day. But these people on Stalker 2 from GSC Game World, again, if you guys can get it out December 1st, fan-freaking-tastic. If you guys need to push it again until 2024, I'm totally cool with that as well. But they are bringing a playable demo to Gamescom, Mav, which kind of indicates they got to be pretty close. Like, this is pretty damn cool that they're going to be there.
Man, it's like, could this year get any better? You know, if if this is true, like, because I feel like a lot of the Stalker 2 talk has died down because we haven't seen any big new trailers or presentations about it in a while, right? I mostly talk about the development and how that's been going. But thinking back to what we had seen from Stalker 2, everything was so impressive. And I'm looking forward to Gamescom because I know that's when we're going to see the next big reveal of where Stalker 2's at, regardless. You know, so that's more exciting for me right now than the launch date. But when we find out that if it is December 1st, if that's true, then man, this year's just, dude, another big RPG like that. Like what the hell? How could this year be even more amazing? And Stalker 2 would make it that, I think.
God. Like I said, man, just looking at this lineup and looking at the games I haven't played this year yet.
Or the ones that you're not even going to be able to have time to. That's the problem. You look at this list and games you won't have time to get to. It could be 10 times better than everything we got in 2022.
Correct. Get games like Jagged Alliance coming out, or we got the Lamplighters coming out.
Yeah, Lamplighters League. Yeah, looking for that.
Bro, how many strategy games have you and I not played this year and it's like the renaissance of strategy games, bro.
I haven't even touched Company of Heroes 3.
You bought Company of Heroes 3 and still haven't touched it. I didn't buy it because I knew I wasn't gonna have time. You bought it and still haven't. Man, we're gonna have a lot, and next year's not gonna give us a break, man. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do because there's so many games that I absolutely want to play. These aren't games like again in the doldrums, in the slowdown that was the pandemic. There was always games that I could find that I was like, oh, cool. I wanted to play this for a while. I'm gonna go check this out. That's not what these games are. These are games that like I need to play. Like, I want to play these games. I want to dive into these games. And now that I have a PC too, it's just added to that, man, because I got like games like Homeworld 3 coming out next year too, on top of things. I'm bamboozled right now how I'm going to do this stuff. I just don't know how I'm going to get to these games, but I have to. But Starfield is going to be like, I don't know how many hundreds of hours, and I still got Baldur's Gate 3.
And not to mention, like, me, you're in a little bit different position too, because we did get our PCs. Like, like there's this like catalog of stuff that I touched. Either like we could just live on for decades. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and go back and play like these amazing experiences that we'd be completely happy with. Because of the kind of genres that we love, right?
Correct.
But man, it's dude, what a year.
And Fallout 4 patch is coming at some point. Next gen patch is coming at some point.
As well. Like, that's crazy.
And then we got
And you know, when that comes out, they're probably giving a big update for the PC version and all that kind of stuff, right?
Correct.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
We got a shadow drop last week with a Quake 2 remaster, bro.
Correct.
Like, what's going on?
Cyberpunk DLC is coming.
Nobody's even talking about that. And it's like going to transform the entire fucking game, dude.
The game's going to be completely different. I'm going to be starting over from scratch. I spent 300 hours in my first playthrough. Like, yo, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, like Free Bear in the chat says Alan Wake 2 also, which I know Rand is super excited about that one also.
Yes,
like,
that was his most anticipated game ever until Starfield Direct came out.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2, like the normal
Space Marine 2, Spooky Space Marine 2 is coming out this year too.
And not to mention the yearly releases of games that usually I play anyway, like the Call of Duties, Madden, NBA 2K. Like,
yeah, no, they're not getting, again, I'm not doing it. I didn't do NBA 2K last year for this reason. I'm not doing NBA 2K again this year. I'm not doing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, even though, as always, when they drop the news and they drop the trailers and they drop the info map, I get excited for Call of Duty. Like, I still do. As much as I say, I don't need it this year, I'll wait for them to come to Game Pass. Like, I watched it today, and I was like, oh, fuck, that looks so good, man. And they're gonna have this huge, gigantic open world zombies now. Like, I loved Cold War Zombies. It was the first zombies I actually kind of enjoyed because of the open worldness. Now they said they're taking that to a whole nother level, and they're gonna have teams in there that you can cooperate with, and you're gonna have missions to do, and it's gonna be an open world style game. I don't know, man. All the classic maps from Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to buy it. I'm not going to be able to get it this year. No,
it is so weird to be that Modern Warfare 3, though, is like Modern Warfare 2 remastered maps.
Correct.
Like, not Modern Warfare 3 remastered maps.
This was my guess that they were going to do.
They just changed it. Like, it was supposed to be a Modern Warfare 2 expansion. They changed it to Modern Warfare 3. I don't care what they say. It was always a planned, solo release.
No,
like,
we had them saying that it was going to be DLC.
It doesn't make any sense. Modern Warfare 3 to be all Modern Warfare 2 maps. Make that make sense. Like, it's a remake of... It should be a remake of Modern Warfare 3, not Modern Warfare 2. If you say that this was a planned massive expansion, kind of what the original rumors were of Modern Warfare 2, and you put like, oh, well, all the classic Modern Warfare 2 maps are coming, remade. You know, you got the new campaign expansion, all the stuff there. We're charging full price for it because the amount of content's there. But could they get away with calling it a full release, right? If it's still called Modern Warfare 2 something, right? Maybe not. So now this is allowing them to potentially close that chapter with ABK. I don't know. Like, it's interesting. Or not, close the chapter with PlayStation with the deal, right? So I don't know. It's interesting though, but like Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2
did you watch it today?
No, I did not.
You didn't watch the trailer? Okay. It looks like, they confirmed that it looks like a reimagining of No Russian is going to be in there. And Gene Park put out today a little bit. He said, for the first time, Call of Duty's campaign for Modern Warfare 3 will feature a true sandbox gameplay with objectives and moments you could miss even after several replays. And the Modern Warfare storyline and its characters doesn't end with this game.
Right, because the Modern Warfare 4 will be Modern Warfare 3.
Modern
Warfare 3 would have been, right? They'll just change the numbers.
Right, they're changing numbers around. But again, it's just, they're so good at what everybody can shit all over Call of Duty. There's plenty of reasons to do it. I get it. It's just been so dominating for so long. It's just like, I mean, again, people get sick of anything that dominates for a long time. You can look at sports like that. Everybody got sick of the Bulls after a while, except for true fans. Everybody got sick of the Cowboys after a while. You know, it just happens. It happens here too. Call of Duty's been so dominant for so long. And again, so many millions of people that play it every year. There's always going to be angry voices out there that talk about, oh, this is the year Call of Duty dies. But again, if you want to talk about consistency, if you want to talk about a game playing at this level for this long, which is unheard of in this industry in a lot of ways, you can't deny that they've got the formula down pat. And every year they find a way. Sure, they have their down years. Sure, they have their off ones. But it's still the best-selling game of all time. Every year they draw people back in, Mav. Every single freaking year. And what did they do this year? They turned DLC into a full-fledged game. People are calling them out for it, but they drop a damn trailer today that is, once again, highest quality, some of the highest quality cinematic trailers you will ever get come out of Call of Duty. It just gets your juices flowing. It just looks fantastic. The acting is off the charts. Every set piece looks fantastic. Then they talk about zombies, and it's going to be an Infinity Ward story zombies map. They threw that in there today to make sure that everybody knew that it's going to be Infinity Ward doing the zombie side of things. At least they had a big hand in it because they called it an Infinity Ward zombies game. That's going to be there. Then they did the whole, hey, we're just remastering all the Modern Warfare 2 maps. And then, so all your favorite maps are going to be there. Oh, by the way, all your stuff, all your progress from Modern Warfare 2 is going to transfer right over to Modern Warfare 3, something we've never done before. But no, we didn't. This was never going to be a DLC. Okay. But still, for the first time ever, you're getting credit for all the stuff you just bought, and you're going to be able to carry it over to this game. They just draw people back in. Activision just knows how to milk this franchise like none other. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to me.
It's going to sell. You know, the hype is going to get really big around closer to launch and all that stuff. Yeah.
Kills.
I mean, Call of Duty always sells. The question is, like, the other games, like, with all this huge slate of games coming, like, what are we? And I thank God for Game Pass, first off, right? Yeah. Oh, it'd be amazing if that was the first Call of Duty to go into Game Pass. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, the amount of games that we want to play this holiday, just the amount of money that would cost is so crazy, bro. Like, it is, dude. It's like, I don't know, like, it just in the short period of months, you know, and I used to do this all the time. Because I would, like, try and budget it out, like, and I would make my list. Okay, I need to buy this game, this game, this game, this game. And Kate would sometimes ask, what am I doing? I'm trying to figure out how much money I need to buy these 15 games that I'm, you know, looking forward to. And then I was like, oh, then you plan out. Oh, if I beat this one, maybe I can trade it in or sell it in time to be able to help get these other ones and stuff like that. Like, and Game Pass is taking a lot of that away, thankfully. Like Forza, don't got to worry about it, right?
Correct.
Starfield, I'm gonna get the enhanced version of it so that way I can play it early, you know. But like,
and on PC,
but it's still a problem for all these other games like Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna have to buy day one. I'm gonna cop Madden, you know, I do every year. NBA, I'm gonna get that as well. I do every year, right?
I'm not. That looks cool too. That looks cool too. They took the direct moves from the NBA videos,
right?
Like the NBA, the actual plays. Like they.
There's so much stuff I want, man. It's like, but then I'm like, okay, well, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm only just into Act 2. At some point, inevitably, like I do with every game, I will have this cutoff point and I'll go back to it later, right?
Yes.
Because there's so much stuff coming out that I get FOMO on. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with it. So it's going to be, man, I don't know.
It's
I don't know what
crazy,
to do.
man. And speaking of, Mav, another game that we didn't mention in all these games that both you and I were extremely hyped for just went gold as also this week, Mav. Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh, yes. Could have forgot about this one. They returned to its roots, Assassin's Creed, something we've been asking for years, right?
This is October 5th. This is like the Assassin's Creed game that we've been talking about wanting to come back. The classic style Assassin's Creed, smaller, much more concentrated Assassin's Creed with the classic crowd, hiding in the crowds, all the classic rooftop stealth. It just went gold this week. They announced it coming October 5th. Assassin's Creed Mirage coming out. Man, I mean, again, we just listed off all the games. Are you contemplating fitting this in somewhere, or are you just like, I got to be out some point because Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be out? I mean, again, there's so many games. Like, what are you going to do?
It's October 5th.
5th.
I honestly, this might be a time when I actually do Ubisoft Plus.
Good call. Yep.
Because like budget wise, I could play through that game probably in like 15-20 hours, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And then be done with it, and maybe at that point maybe I'll check out Crew Motorfest or whatever else Ubisoft has at that point, and just get my month or two's worth that I pay for it, and then be done with it for a while.
That might be the winning formula.
Yeah, I think that's the way I'm gonna go. You get all the DLC and all that stuff too, like all the premium shit, right?
Correct. So that's why I'm trying to think if I would wait just to see if they come out with any more DLC and then buy it. Because again, and also they did announce this week too, Matt. Speaking of which, you just mentioned it, the Crew Motorfest went gold this week as well. That comes September 14th.
Yep.
So September 14th, Crew Motorfest, and then October 5th.
Yeah. I'm not as excited about Crew Motorfest because I played Forza Horizon already.
Correct.
Like it's now I may dabble in it if I get the Ubisoft Plus premium, but I ain't buying it unless it comes on sale way later for really cheap, and then I'll have fun with it then. But like I did try the beta, and like it was a slightly more arcadey version of Forza Horizon.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. Yeah, I could care less about Motorfest too. Like I said, if I do your way and get Ubisoft Plus for a month, maybe December, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the games I could dive into, like Anno 1800. I would have some fun with.
You haven't played that. I got to go back to that too.
Yeah, I played the
so
demo for it. It's pretty awesome. Or the free weekend they had.
Yeah, the
free
weekend.
Is.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yep.
And then Crew Motorfest, maybe I'll play a little bit, but with that, but most Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yep.
Does they have anything else from Ubisoft this holiday?
No, those are the two this holiday.
Skull of Bones isn't launching.
The super secret version that's supposed to be the best. Yeah, no, that's not.
What about X Defiant? But it's free to play. That's coming. I think maybe.
Is it coming this year?
I think they're getting closer. I think they're getting closer. Yeah. But that's free to play, so that doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter. No, they're supposed to have one more launch next year, right? The big one that they said was
Avatar. Right? Is that this year? I think Avatar.
I just saw another promotion of that today too. Yeah.
Yeah, December 7th. Jasper says.
Yeah. Okay, so Avatar's in there too. Okay.
Okay, so I'll.
What about Heartland? Is Heartland this year?
I don't know, but that's another. I think it's free to play. So
it's free to play as well. Yeah.
I'm not sure when that's coming. So what I'll plan on is maybe taking Ubisoft Plus from like October through like December or so. And
January.
Okay.
January, they're all out.
Right. Then you just pay for 1 month.
Yeah, 1 month. Yeah. Because I should be able to finish Assassin's Creed Mirage, like you said, 15 to 20 hours, and then I'll dabble in. Because I'm not super hyped for Avatar. Maybe it'll be a game that I get super interested in, but I'm not hyped for it. And then I can dabble in Avatar, and then potentially Motorfest if I have time, and that'll kind of hold me over. That'll be cool. That'll be 1 month. So yeah, because I'm not looking for anything. Outside of Mirage, I'm not excited for anything from Ubisoft until we get to Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah, I'm excited for Just Dance 28 or whatever.
No. Star Wars Outlook is the one that I really want. Shout out to Yves.
Yeah. That's
on my top
2024
list.
too, man.
Yep, it is.
If it hits 2024, but
yeah,
we'll see.
I'm sure it looked pretty damn good. So it looked like it was far along. Another game news this week too, man. We just got today. Alan Wake 2, which we talked about earlier, moved 10 days to the 27th. So, and they said specifically, I've got their post here, an update from the Alan Wake 2 team. We're moving Alan Wake 2's launch from October 17th to October 27th. October is an amazing month for game launches, and we hope this date shift gives more space for everyone to enjoy their favorite games. We can't wait to show you what everyone else's favorite novelist is up to in the dark place next week. Thanks for your patience, because they're going to be at Gamescom as well. So we should see some more Alan Wake 2 then. But they moved 10 days.
So is there something else that just got announced for around the 17th?
No, it's Spider-Man 2 is the 20th. So that gives them a week.
Right. They probably didn't want to be around that same weekend.
They didn't want to be around that same weekend. They were going to get buried. I mean, again, this kind of shows what they think, again, Sony PlayStation single player game, Spider-Man. A lot of people will have that week and then we'll be ready to move on. And that, which is cool. So I think this was very smart. Plus it gives some more room between, Starfield, obviously was so big that they know that's not just a, hey, 2-week game that people are still going to be playing come October. They're going to still be playing Starfield as well. Was there something Nintendo was one of the Super Mario Brothers games coming out in there too?
Yeah, I was trying to look up the date for that because I saw in the chat. Mario game release date.
Super Mario
Wonder, right? Yep.
Yep.
That is
October 20th.
Yep. Okay.
So
that's the same.
So Spider-Man and Wonder. Yeah,
Man,
Spider-Man and Wonder. Yeah.
Makes sense why they would move from the 17th now,
Correct.
But like just a week after those games, still, it's crazy.
It's
bro.
It's pretty good though. I mean, a week, like I said, for a lot of people on those two games. But again, I can't wait. That's going to be one hell of a week too, to see the fights going on, the review scores, and potentially 2 more Game of the Year contenders coming out the same day. And then Alan Wake a week later, which Alan Wake, I said, is a dark horse.
Could be a dark horse, yeah.
It could be a real, again, this year, realistically, probably not. You've already got Tears of the Kingdom. You've already got Baldur's Gate as locked, like the 2 top horses right now. You got potentially the 3rd horse right now in Starfield dropping shortly. And then you've still got a million other games that came out this year that are great. So, but again, never count out Super Mario, never count out Mario, never count out a brand new 2D Mario game, beloved by the critics, showing up and actually winning it. And of course, Spider-Man 2, Insomniac. We already know how the critics feel about them. So, God, this year Game Awards are going to be so
Armored
much fun.
Core 6 is right around the corner.
It's coming, Yep, next week, right?
I think so, yeah. The end of next week or the beginning of the following, I think.
Beginning of the following Tuesday, that following, right? Yeah. Yep. No, it's next week. It's got to be next week because it's 6 days prior to launch, right? 5 days.
The next Friday?
Yeah, it could be next Friday. I got to decide if I'm picking that up.
Blaze Ray Jenkins says, I guess I'm the only airhead who will mention NBA 2K24. I mentioned it.
No,
shortly.
No, Mav did mention it, and it used to be a staple for me as well. So my hours on 2022, or what was it? Was it 2022, Mav? No, that was last.
Yeah, you played a lot of 2022. I played more 2023. Yeah.
2022, my hours were ridiculous. So Steel actually gifted me 2023, and I did play some, but nowhere near what I played 2022. Like stupid.
Yeah.
A non-3D Mario. Oh, wait, a non-3D. I'm assuming Alvin, $2. Sorry, $2 super chat. Alvin, what's going on? A non-3D Mario has no shot this year of all years. Oh, so what you're saying is the 2D is going to hold it back. The only thing holding it back is Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, because it's so beloved that I don't even know if a Mario 2D game, but Mario 2D brings in so much nostalgia, bro, for people. And this one is actually like a full fleshed out, brand new Mario 2D game. People haven't experienced in a while. I don't know, man. Critics are weird. Again, Stray was in Game of the Year last year.
This Game of the Year awards, we talked about it last week, I think, it's going to be absolutely insane. We did miss a super chat earlier that I just double checked from Spartan661.
Hey, Spartan661. Sorry about that.
Appreciate it, Spartan. Sorry I missed this one. But so do you think we will find a planet that had highly intelligent and advanced civilizations that were eradicated like the Forerunners and Halo as a tease?
This is a big question because we still don't know who built the gates.
Yeah,
in Starfield,
and what the artifact is and stuff like that.
Right, the artifacts. And there's obviously some type of structures, right? Because we've seen the structure that you walk into. So it's obviously intelligent life, but we don't know who they are or what they are. Could we find a planet that was once popular? Go ahead, Mav, if you got any thoughts on this. Do you think we can find a planet that was destroyed?
So do you think, from a civilization that was eradicated, do we think we find a planet that had them? I think so, because I think that's what the relics reference, and I think you'll probably travel to a planet that could have been the former home that is desolate now, or maybe debris from a planet that used to be in existence as well, potentially. I think about that because me and Kate just watched Interstellar recently, right? Again, and you don't know who they are that left the wormhole out there for you to travel through. And then it kind of turns out they think it's you, like your own species from the future that that gave you the gateway, right? But like, if I'm looking at this from that perspective, I would say that yes, and that will evolve into other questions, right? But I don't know if it'll necessarily be on a planet or where you're gonna find it, right? Like maybe it's going to be like on a somewhere unexpected. I don't know. It's good. I don't know, man. It's like crazy. I mean, they already, in the history of the lore, when you look at it with the artifact, that artifact has already been found, right? And like they know it holds importance and stuff. So technically that's already happened in the lore of this universe, right? Because they're trying to study where this artifact came from, and you don't have the answers to that. So I mean, technically, really, it's already happened. Will you come across more? That's what I don't know, but the story revolves around that. So I would assume maybe so, because I think you're probably going to be looking for more artifacts, I would think, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Obviously, I think so too. Skullsy, when he was on our show, and we're gonna have Skullsy on after Starfield drops too, and we'll have another Starfield blowout with Skullsy and what he thinks too. Skullsy, when remember, he was saying that he thought maybe we could, that we would eventually travel to a different place, like a completely different place through one of the artifacts, and I thought that was a good guess. Now, whether or not, like Spartan said, that we get a tease of something like that, but that's kind of leads up, and we kind of find out at the end of this one what we've been looking for, but then they save it for like a Starfield 2 kind of situation, or maybe a major expansion if they decide to do a huge DLC for this one or something. That definitely is also a possibility. I think that we do. I think that we already see glimpses of the civilization, whoever these people are that had the artifacts, that created the artifacts. We already see glimpses of it. I think there might be one spot that gives us a bigger glimpse as to who these people were. We saw this obviously in Elder Scrolls, right? We saw leftover civilizations that had disappeared, and the marks that they had made. And I think because we are finding these artifacts and we are finding these kind of towers or structures that are kind of built around the artifacts that we find as well, I think that we do find maybe semblance of those in different places on planets, like just little tiny hints to who they were or what they were. I think so. Good question, Spartan. It is intriguing. That's one of the things that is still up in the air about this game, like how deep this is going to go, how far this is going to go. Again, Todd and the rest of the team all pointed out that that's one of the major overarching themes of Starfield is the big human questions. Are we alone, and why are we here? right? They've said that specifically. So
Right.
definitely potential for that.
And did you get the Alvin $2?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
the one I
right,
read before
right.
you did that
Okay,
one. Yep,
thank
yep. So we're good. Oh, so let's see. We talked about all this kind of the gaming news this week as far as this game, specifically the games we're talking about. Cool development. I wanted to point out. I don't know if Mav's got any thoughts on this or not. I just thought this was a very cool thing that happened this week, and this is something that I talked about way back when I started podcasting, when we kind of had right after the ZeniMax acquisition was announced. John Carmack had come out. For you guys who don't know, John Carmack is the OG, one of the fathers of Quake, Wolfenstein, etc.
Mm-hmm.
He is an extremely intelligent man who has had his hands in VR, who's worked with Oculus, etc. Extremely intelligent, over the top. But he's one of the OGs. You go back and watch the old Quake. I think they just put out a anniversary Quake video, and Carmack's in there because he's one of the creators. He had a falling out when he left. He had a falling out with ZeniMax. He had a falling out with the board when he left. They actually sued each other back and forth. You can go read about it. It's all public. He had a falling out when the ZeniMax acquisition was announced and Microsoft acquired. He actually came out on Twitter and said, wouldn't it be cool if I got a chance to come back and touch some of my franchises again? Meaning that he was open to that. And I said, my God, call the man, Phil, make the call, bring him back into the fold, even if it's just as an advisory role or something. If you're going to redo Quake, like we've heard rumblings of, bring the OG back, man. I mean, the dude is awesome. He's super cool. We got news this week. VGC put out an article. John Carmack returned to QuakeCon for the first time in a decade this weekend. I'm so happy that everything is cool now and I am welcome. Just thought this was great news. John Carmack, because he wasn't allowed. He was banned from QuakeCon.
Right.
They didn't want him there because of all the back and forth with him and the higher ups at ZeniMax. Water under the bridge. Now that everything's different, Xbox now owns them. He got the invite, Mav. I thought that was a sign. He got the invite. He showed up at QuakeCon. Everything was cool. He had a great time signing autographs, talking with people again. You can see by the picture, just extremely happy to be there. Wow. What a moment to see one of the OGs back. I love it.
One of the greats with advancing technology in gaming and engines and all that kind of stuff. You talk about like all it. I mean, 3D engines. Id Tech and stuff all came from him. Really, I think the start of it all. So, it's really cool to see, and who knows what the future holds. In the same vein, just to throw this out there because we're talking about possible return of great designers into gaming. There was something I noticed on Twitter, and this actually came from an old article. I can't remember who had shared it. It was Seamus Blackley had shared this.
Oh yes, I did put this. Go ahead and bring this up because you know more about this.
Tomonobu Itagaki. Actually, had done an interview before with I think it was Forbes or GameIndustry.biz. I can't remember which one. And part of the interview had gotten cut off for like space or whatever reason. I'm not sure. But they didn't include it. But more of that interview had come out, and is it Seamus or Seamus? I don't know. That's SEAM.
Seamus, I think.
Yeah, he had shared this, and I found it interesting because the parts that had got cut out actually talk about that he actually has a gaming studio again, and that he is working on games. And he said he was asked about the possibility of bringing games back to Xbox, and he said he would love the opportunity to, or he's looking forward to it actually. And he did go and say that his next game is coming to Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. So one of the original, like it said in that article, one of the original rock stars of gaming, Itagaki-san, right? Possibly making another game. Now he's already done this once and it didn't result in a great outcome, right? With
people wonder if he still got it or not,
right? So that's going to be the question. Now for me, it's like one of the guys that really advanced like the action gaming genre, like action genre,
Yeah,
like
for Mav, real quick, just let me
yeah,
jump
so
in here
let
real quick.
people know who he is.
For the youngins out there who don't know who Itagaki is, or even for some of the old heads that forgot who Itagaki is. First of all, I've always said I said this back when we first had these rumors, Mav, back in the day when he talked about this. He is the motley crew of game designers. And there were some questions about some of his during cancel culture time when it really hit its peak.
Yeah.
Came into question about some of his activities back in the day and how he treated some people and stuff. Itagaki was a rock star, as Mav just said. He is I called the motley crew. He was that guy. Showed up in leather jackets, sunglasses, long hair. Like he didn't
always
give
smoking a cigarette. You know,
always smoking a cigarette. Didn't give a rat's ass.
Yeah.
But to give you guys some background on who he is, if you guys don't know, he started out his career as a graphics engineer in 1990 on Tecmo Super Bowl. One of my favorite all-time football games, right? That's where he started. But then he became the producer, director of Dead or Alive, of course. Again, Dead or Alive, Fatal Frame 2, and then Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
Right? So he is an incredibly talented man when it comes to video games. He knows, at least back then, he knew how to create a fan base, and he knew and pushed into his style, and he created a whole, I mean, again, Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden are beloved franchises to this day because of Itagaki and what his team pulled off. But that was where he came from.
Team Ninja.
Team Ninja. Yep. Team Ninja. And then he had a falling out, left, went and started teaching, future devs, and then started a little studio. And that's when the rumor started way back, 2 years ago, Mav, where he started a little studio and acquisition season started. And he was like, hey, I'd love to come work with Microsoft and Xbox again. I'd love it. Nothing.
Because he had already started a new studio when he left Team Ninja, and it was like Team Vikings or something like that.
Something like
and
that.
They had a game that was like
Devil's Third.
Yeah, it was like
Devil's Third.
Horrible. Like
it was
probably really low budget, probably rushed and everything. Like who knows exactly all the, but like so that was the first attempted comeback.
Yep.
So that's why it's like kind of keep your like expectations in check, but hold out hope, right? Like that possibilities could be great. There's also in this day and age now where we're at, there's a lot more investment into these new studios and all this kind of stuff, as opposed to where they were when he was trying to make that last game, right? So I would say that he has a better, stronger opportunity now to do some good things. But that did come out, and so if we got John Carmack back at Bethesda, you got Itagaki back promoting a game, which is always fun, right? To see him out there promoting his games. And then also like, who knows what else is possible? Is Cliffy B gonna come back and like start working at the Coalition or like at Epic again or some crazy thing? Like you just never know. Like it's crazy like personalities in gaming. I would say Carmack is one of those personalities also. Like he's very outspoken. He has like a lot of different opinions on things, and he's stubborn to it. And but that's one of the things you kind of like about him, right? Is he's just who is who he is. He's a genius. Like involved in lots of different stuff. So
he wouldn't visit Elon at SpaceX because he's huge into space.
Yeah,
and he put a shout out, and next thing you know, he was posting pictures because Elon invited him to SpaceX. Like the guy is a genius, literally a genius. He's an engineer at heart. He just so happens to like video games, and like Mav said, a lot of the id engine, that's him. That's his own creation. Like when they were cutting edge 3D engines before anybody else was doing a lot of their stuff, that he was at the forefront of that whole team. Like that was his. So yeah, it would be great to see Carmack, and I'd love to see Itagaki. I love Itagaki because again, a guy who didn't give a flying F what anybody said or care what thought of him. But as Cliffy B pointed out, I think during the Iron Lords interview, this industry doesn't like rock stars.
Yeah.
This industry doesn't like high profile devs at all. That's why we don't know a whole lot of devs' names. That's why Todd Howard is so rare, right? Or Kojima is so rare. And we saw what happened to Kojima with his fallout at Konami. This industry, the higher ups, they don't like rock stars, which is very strange to me.
Because it seems like people get excited about their games. You think you almost want to prop them up, right?
Right.
In a way.
Correct. It's really weird.
I think
that's just been
I could
understand.
understand the fact that like you're the owner and you make all the decisions of the business, but you have this developer that gains so much traction and fandom and as a personality that like you're just like their decisions matter more than yours, which I think should like probably be the right way to do things anyway, right? But like a lot of these companies don't like that because budgets get out of hand or like they don't listen to them as far as wanting to make things for the mass casuals and stuff like that.
Because in entertainment, in entertainment as a whole, though, man, we've got you got superstar directors all over the place.
Yeah, it helps promote things.
Right, it helps promote. Like when you, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want that in video game. But again, this industry is so secretive.
Yeah, there's a reason why everybody's excited about Oppenheimer and stuff like that. It's because it was a
Christopher Nolan.
Movie,
when you say Christopher Nolan's making a new movie, my God, you got instantly a billion people waiting. Like, oh my God, give me information. But this industry is so secretive and so just strange about everything, Matt. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's very few now, and a lot of the ones that were like that are gone or like retired from gaming. So
right.
Interesting.
I mean, you got the Zampellas, you got the Kojimas, you got the Todd Howards, but like most of the time,
Xbox has a lot of those guys, though. It's surprising.
Yeah, like they do. But you just don't hear from them. Like you don't know about them. Like unless you're here, unless you're part of this community, we're talking about these people all the time. You could go ask anybody on the street who made Gears of War. They probably wouldn't know Cliffy B. They might if they're huge Gears heads, but for the most part, you wouldn't. But Cliffy B was one of the last young rock stars that was coming up, and then he did what he did. He burned his bridges, and that was his fault. He admits it. His ego got the best of him, and they forced him out of the industry, and he never recovered. So
after a couple of failed attempts at his own games,
coming back. But I would love to see. I love to see all these guys because again, these are creatives. I just don't understand why. I don't want to tamp down creatives, even if they're eccentric, even if they're out there. I want to see what they can do. That's part of who they are and what makes them so good at what they do. No, man, I'd love to see these.
That's why I like when like Xbox brings in a studio that has these guys like a Tim Schafer, right? Like because it's like they're there and they're empowered, right? Todd Howard is being empowered now, right? Tim Schafer is being empowered, right?
Mm-hmm. Josh Sawyer is being empowered.
Yes, like all these guys. So like. And now I think Sony's done a good job of that too, right?
Yes, like of course, obviously.
Yeah, I mean they got Cory Barlog and what's the other guy from Uncharted and stuff? The guy, not Cory Barlog, but the other one that's making the guy that made Uncharted and stuff. Can't think of the name right now. Anyway,
wait. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. What were you saying?
The Last of Us director. What's
you were trying? Drunkman.
Neil Druckmann. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Neil Druckmann. Cory Barlog. Then they got they got the teams in Insomniac, like all those guys like Ted Price and Drew Murray's back there.
Drew Murray and stuff. But Druckmann is high profile.
Or Ted Price is somewhere else. Can't remember.
No, Ted Price is no longer. Didn't Ted Price leave, or did he go?
I don't remember.
No, he is Insomniac.
Okay, yeah, and then Drew Murray's there. Yeah, I mean they have all these like. There's a lot of awesome.
Druckmann is definitely up there too. I mentioned him earlier, but
that's what I was trying to remember. His name was leaving my mind. There's so many of these guys, right? And if they're empowered by these bigger companies, that's where you want to be. A lot of times they get egos or whatever.
Yeah, Joseph Ferris is now big because of what he did to Beer Baron. Yep, I hear you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's one of those rockstar devs.
Yep.
But a lot of these guys that go and they try and do their own thing after they leave and things don't go well, But it's interesting. One example of that's Marty O'Donnell, right? He's never really achieved the same success that as he did with Halo, right? He burned his bridges with Bungie with during the first Destiny game, right? So since then he's tried to do different things and it hasn't really worked out the best, But well, I still associate Halo with Marty, right?
Of course, yeah.
As much as anybody else, because you hear that music, regardless of who the actual composer is for that game, the roots of that all came from Marty O'Donnell, right? Like,
100%. Now, speaking of Halo, you had something that you posted that also caught up, but again, you're more in tune with Halo than I am. But obviously, Max Hoberman posted a picture. And I don't know if you guys talked about this in FSP or not.
Did not.
Okay, the CEO of Certain Affinity, he posted a tweet this week, said the beauty of showing our own game behind closed doors at Gamescom is that I also get to share a little with you. Take this concept art poster, for instance. And they've got a black and white gray shaded poster with 3 figures on there, Mav.
Yeah.
Did any of this, because we know Certain Affinity is working on a monster, supposedly working on Monster Hunter type game to be published by Xbox. They are also supposedly working on the Halo, which was originally a battle royale, could possibly be more now, spin-off Unreal Engine Halo, like whatever this turns out to be. Did any of these figures spark anything for you that was in this poster that he posted? Any hints?
No, I mean,
no.
It all looks like original stuff to me. Like,
okay.
here's the picture here.
Yeah, if you can bring that up for everybody to see if you guys missed it.
It's a like thin vertical picture, so it's
right.
see if it can show up. But you got this like monk looking like character like in the top of it. Looks like some like maybe magic-y monkey evil guy. I don't know if he's good or bad or whatever. Then you have like this looks like a knight character, like wearing heavy armor, older.
Psycho thought he looked like the older version of the guy we saw in the Coalition's UE5 project that they showed off.
I'm not sure. I mean, that would be interesting, but I don't know where the ties there.
I thought he looked like Sam Elliott.
Yeah, he does look like Sam Elliott. And then you have this like almost looks like more like in tune with nature type character down below. It looks like they're wearing like a bandana, more natural kind of armor, less like heavy, a ponytail. Like I don't know, man. Like it looks like there's something that's if I was to guess, it looks like it's like fantasy medievally oriented type game with like classes and stuff. Like, but it's Certain Affinity. I feel like this is their own game, their own creation. And
well, I'm thinking it potentially could be that Monster Hunter game, man.
It could be, bro. It could be that Monster Hunter game. And it's very interesting because the characters look pretty cool, right? Certain Affinity has, I think, been under the radar for a lot of people because they've been mainly a support studio for so long, but they've been heavily involved with Halo since Halo Reach, I believe, because Max Hoberman was originally from Bungie. He did the online, the overlay designs, whatever you call it, the UI. You know, the UI. He did the online. He did all that stuff. Matchmaking. He's like the father of matchmaking online. For those that don't know, like in designing that system. The one that like Call of Duty took on, all these other games like really took on, like came from him. And he's been influential, and his studio Certain Affinity with several games in their multiplayer, but they haven't been face forward, right? They're not the marketed team, right? Like they're just the multiplayer aspect to a lot of those games. And now we're seeing them do lots of different things and take on more bigger projects. But they said one of the projects they're doing with Microsoft is the biggest thing they've ever done. Maybe it's this. And like also with the Battle Royale thing is supposed to have gotten bigger and expanded into something even bigger. So I think the Certain Affinity name is going to be something that is even bigger and bigger in these few years to come as marketing starts coming. So I'm curious because it's like a behind the scenes thing. So I really know what these people saw, you know?
We'll probably get some word about it, right? If they're showing it off behind the scenes, we'll start to get some news about it potentially after Gamescom or during Gamescom next week.
There's got to be a reveal shortly after that for them to have a reason for the behind closed doors.
For the behind the closed doors,
right?
Those three characters to me, Mav, look like classes, right?
Yeah, that's
so
what
I think. Like Monster Hunter, So when I'm thinking like Monster Hunter style game with different classes, different weapons, again, whatever that vision from Certain Affinity is. Again, that's just the rumors that we heard, that it was a Monster Hunter type game. Could be completely different, but that looked like classes, like different types to me, that we would see in a game, which would make sense for that type of game as well. I'm curious. Certain Affinity has worked on so many big games, so many titles as a support studio, as you know, that Call of Duty, Halo, like you said, Mav. I can't wait to see what their original creation, big time AAA budget game is going to look like underneath Xbox publishing. I hope that's what that is. I hope we get word on it, because that would be wow. We get word on that. That's been a game that's been rumored that we haven't heard anything about. Certain Affinity's got a lot of talent over there. What are they? They're like 400 plus, 500 plus people over there at Certain Affinity, something crazy. Man, oh man, would that be cool to see something fresh out of them.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
For sure, bro.
Yeah. Gamescom's now Keeley did come out this week, Mav, and said that Gamescom will be more about updating big titles coming out in the next year or so, more so than any new IP, right? Any new surprises, trailers. Not that they say that there won't be any, but he definitely said the focus is on updating the games coming out next year. So I wouldn't expect too many big new IPs, but Certain Affinity showing off behind closed doors. It's got to be something from them that's fresh that we haven't heard about. So I can't wait to see, man.
Yeah, for sure. What day is that?
Starts the 23rd through the 27th.
Right.
So next Wednesday night is opening night, I think. So we'll have news next week.
Maybe we'll see that game there.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a teaser, right? So they'll probably tease it and then show it off behind closed doors, right? And then we'll get media reports about it. But we should have some Gamescom news next week.
Yeah,
everybody.
I mean, Xbox said they were going to have a big presence there, so
yep,
should be 100%. Some exciting things to talk about next week.
But there's not going to be a Starfield demo, Mav. It's in trouble.
Oh, that's a theater presentation. Who cares?
It's in trouble. It's in trouble.
I'm not concerned about what other people think about Starfield at a 15-minute little demo that they're going to play at a games event. I just want to play the shit. It's coming out in 2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks time. Who cares about a demo? So I made a post today saying, wow, this year is so amazing with these games. We're about to enter the stretch of maybe the greatest run of video games of all time. It started with Baldur's Gate 3 here last month, and it's going to continue for the next few months with my most anticipated game. And this guy, this like idiot, was like, "All you Xbots are so weird. Or why Starfield? They're scared to show it at Gamescom." And this was today. This was like something that people were talking about like 2 weeks ago. And it's still trying to put that nonsense out there.
The other one I heard, Bav, is why, as an Xbox fan, are you not demanding to see Xbox Series console footage from Starfield? That's a problem. They should be showing off Starfield footage from Xbox Series consoles, but they don't want to because there's something wrong. It's only 30 frames. It's going to have problems. That's the other one I heard. We should be demanding. Should be demanding to see it.
Yeah, I'll send my demand letter. I'll play it on the 31st and I'll see it in my eyes.
The best was the clowns. And again, they do this on purpose. That's why I call them clown show. That's why I call them the circus. That's why I call them actors and I call them snakes, because they're not real. They do this stuff for engagement, and they do it because they know people are going to go after them for it. So they try to be the most ridiculous caricature of a human being, or I should say of a video game fan that they could possibly be. They actually were trying to take credit this week for getting Bethesda to announce that Starfield went gold. It was them that did it. They put the pressure on Xbox and Bethesda, and they got it done.
Yep.
Sure. Oh, good God, Mav. Good God. Speaking of Sony, Mav, we did get some Spider-Man 2 news this week. Spider-Man 2, obviously, huge game this year. It's going to be a massive seller. It's going to be a massive success. No matter what anybody wants to say, it's going to be what it's going to be. Spider-Man. Graphic modes. They did announce a couple of them. Now, there's expected to be more than this. I know I saw some of the Xbox clowns try to run with this and say, oh, look at this. They don't have all the, it's Insomniac. They had all the modes in Spider-Man 1 and they had all the modes in Miles Morales. There's no reason why they're not going to have more modes, but the two confirmed this week were Fidelity, which is 30 frames per second, 4K base resolution with ray tracing and additional visual effects, and a performance mode, 60 frames, no ray tracing and additional visual effects, and 4K upscaled. So we're getting some confirmation about some of the Spider-Man stuff. Nothing shocking there, Matt. You don't have any thoughts on that, do you?
Nope.
Nope.
Seems like what I expected. So
yeah. And like I said, I expect them to have a performance mode with ray tracing, just like they did before too. It's just a matter of whatever. I know it's going to be there. The one other little interesting is that they are introducing new accessibility options. This has been a conversation for a lot of people in this community, whether it was Elden Ring, whether it's a billion other games. Accessibility options are obviously a massive topic for all the people that do have disabilities, that love to game. You know, we finally saw PlayStation come out with their own controller for this after years, Xbox having their controller, their adaptable controller out for a very, very long time, to much critical acclaim. And obviously plenty of people being excited and happy that no matter what they've got going on, they're able to play games, which is always going to be important. We see Forza has a mode for people who are blind, with indicators, right? So they actually just had a video showing, I forget the dude's name, but he's actually a blind gamer playing Forza, which is insane to me. Like, but this is where we're at. But they did announce accessibility option, allowing players to slow down the combat speed in Spider-Man 2 by 30 to 70%, Matt. So you're going to basically be able to like, right. That's what I'm curious how this is going to function. Like, it's interesting that they're putting this in, right? Exactly. Like, it's almost going to become 70%. That's almost like, you know what that reminds me of? Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
When you could slow it down and make decisions, but the action like slowed down to a crawl, but it was still moving in the background.
Yeah.
But 70% Spider-Man, it's gonna make for some cool.
I would be actually interested to see it. Then to take some video, you could get some really cool animations, right? You could
get some great clips out of this, right? Even if you're not using it for accessibility reasons, great clips for this. But interesting nonetheless. A different kind of feature that I haven't seen in a lot of games. But I know a lot of people are going to use it, you know, for their own purposes. But hey, they're putting it in the game. Again, I'm all about accessibility features, and I'm not going to, I don't care how you play your games. Play your games how you want to play your games. Again, we went through this week too, Mav, with the topic of save scumming, as they call it. Up in Baldur's Gate 3, and people talking about it. Either there's a whole group of people who claim that save scumming is you're not a true CRPG or RPG fan if you save scum. Okay.
Whatever. Like, I don't care
this
what
goes back decades. I don't care how you play your games. I don't care if you save one time and you think you're the God's gift to RPGs. That's fine. I'm going to save scum. I'm a save whore. Always have been for decades. JRPGs started that stuff way back in the day. I don't give a shit. I play my games how I want to play. I don't really care what you think about me. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But
I think it takes like a special kind of like ego or whatever, or to think that like somebody else having a different experience, or like having an easier experience, or a experience to help them with their challenges, takes away from how badass you are, because you were able to beat something that's like at its hardest or whatever. Like, I get you can play it how you want and you can still show that off, and it doesn't devalue your
if somebody else
achievement point or whatever you got for doing something because somebody did it a different way. Like, it's just like there's this thing that permeates like about like hardcore and like badass and like, no, you don't make these games like accessibility options because like they're getting the same achievements that I get. And I'm like what? It's a fucking fake digital point that's just like come on. Like,
congratulations on your trophy.
Say this stuff. Yeah, like
Jesus.
Yay, yeah. So like it's just a special kind of ego for those kind of people that like feel like you know, it has to be so in a special class that nobody else can achieve what they are because of their ability. And if there's somebody else who's given the tools to make it easier for them, it takes away from my experience. That's like, it's ridiculous.
Don't let anybody ever. This goes back to the conversations that Steele and I've had since we started living split screen. Know who you are as a gamer, and don't let anybody ever push you off that square. If you've been gaming for a long time, you know who you are as a gamer, and stand by that, and don't let people shame you either which way. That's why I proudly say I'm a grazer. That's why I confidently admit that I don't finish a lot of games. There are people in this community that want to say you're not a real gamer unless you finish games. All that nonsense. I could care freaking less because I know who I am as a gamer. I don't give a shit what other people think about me. This is my hobby. This is a selfish hobby. Yes, we do podcasts, and we play multiplayer. Yes, we share our enjoyment with other people. But at the end of the day, it's about me and the game that I'm playing, and that's it. Pure and simple. And so for me, I know who I am. Just know who you are as a gamer. This came up this week again with Baldur's Gate 3 and save scumming and all this kind of stuff. There was somebody that put out an interesting video that Steele had put in our DMs that kind of started a conversation between him and I, because this guy was out here saying that you shouldn't save scum because it ruins the experience that the developer wanted to give you, because there are quotes
and
from,
he's warning people that it will ruin your experience.
Right, it will ruin your experience. But he did his whole video, and if you listen to the video, he's talking about for him personally, but he talks about how Larian, as some of their devs came out and said, trust the dice, right? All this kind of stuff, that you should play it through, and it should be an organic, kind of alluding to it should be an organic experience. And there's going to be failures, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. That's a part of playing our game. But the fact is that Larian purposely put in their game the ability to save at every single point along the way. In fact, you're allowed to save before you make any decision if you want to. You're allowed to save before every saving throw dice roll that you make in the game, outside of the initial like combat and that kind of stuff. But you can save every turn if you want to, really what it comes down to. Larry put that in their game for a reason. Play the game how you want to play. If you are somebody that is ruined by the experience, and he brought this up in his video, somebody had made a post saying, man, I really wish I wouldn't have saved scum because it ruined my experience in the game.
No, they were wishing the person that he referenced was like a Zelda player that used a cheat and a hack in Zelda, right?
Yeah, a hack in Zelda. And he said it ruined my experience, but I couldn't help myself. I knew it was going to ruin my experience, but I could not help myself knowing that the hack was there. My point to that gentleman is, you know who you are as a gamer, but you just have no self-control. That's on you. That's not on the game. That's on you for doing that. You got to take personal responsibility in those situations and say, no, this is going to ruin my experience. I'm not going to do it. If you do it and it ruins it, that's on you. That's just personal responsibility at the end of the day, period. For me, save scumming doesn't ruin my experience. If I don't like a result in Baldur's Gate and I've got the chance to go back and redo it again, I'm going to go back and redo it again, period, point blank. I can't go. Baldur's Gate 3 has 17,000 endings. Okay, you can say, well, they're all just little minuscule changes. Obviously they are. But the point of fact is, I'm going to probably have at the end of my Baldur's Gate 3 play a couple $100 plus into this game.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to go back and replay all of those scenarios that I wish would have come out differently?
Right.
No, I want the experience I want the first time I play it through. Period.
Yeah. I've redone whole 20-minute segments in this game because I was like, for example, I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 yesterday, right?
Yep.
And I mean, I was in Act 2, and there's this part that was so like surprising what happened, and like this thing happened. I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'm not going to tell you what it was. But there was this whole thing, like this big moment happened, and all these things were happening, and I was like, oh my god, did I fuck up? Like I was like, I don't want that what's happening right now to happen because what I like, how bad it is, right?
Yes.
Like how it was making me like feel that's not what I wanted to see happen. So it was like, I'm going to go back and see if it's possible to go in a different direction.
Right.
And if it's not, that's where the game's meant to go. But I wanted to try and save that situation from happening because it was so bad. And like, I was like, no, I don't want that to happen. I want this, I want this other scenario. So I went back just to see if I can change the course, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can or not yet. And if I can't, then it is what it is. And that's what I got to live with. But I hated what I was having to do. So like, I was like, so that doesn't take away from my experience. Actually, in a way, for me, it adds to it.
Correct.
Because I get a chance to see different outcomes and have these different possibilities and stuff. And like, I don't mind that. And it's for some people, like, if you have a certain way that you like to play, it's up to every single person. I just disagree wholeheartly with the video that guy made, because inherently you're saying, first off, let me get this out of the way. Everybody play how you want to play. And I get that. And I understand what I'm going to, people are going to say back to me. So he already knows ahead of time before making this video, like all the all the people in the comments are going to say, so he's trying to get ahead of that. But then he goes on to say, try and convince people why it's not the best thing to do, and that they will have a better experience if they don't do it. Right. Which is still counteracting, like, letting everybody play the way they want. Ultimately, it's a pointless video, pointless thing. It's like, I always just 100%. Yeah. Whoever plays whatever game they play, however you want to play it, unless you're cheating online and ruining other people's experiences.
Correct.
Unless you're like a hacker or modder, or like you're like teaming up online in a multiplayer game to like with friends to ruin other people's experience. Unless you're affecting other people's experiences. Right. I don't care how you want to play your game. And there's no like more hardcore or less hardcore player in that regard. It's about just being a gamer for me. And for me, what makes a gamer is that people try to fathom put some kind of quantifiable aspect to this. What makes a gamer a gamer? Like, is it your kill to death ratio on Call of Duty, right? Is it your amount of achievements in Xbox, your trophies on PlayStation? Is it your completion rate of how many games you complete per year? What is it? For me, there's only one thing. Right. If gaming was taking away from your life, how much would you care? Correct. If you would be emotionally affected from that, if you feel like it would leave a hole in your life, then you're a gamer, right? Sure. Because you care about gaming. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how much you play. It doesn't matter what you play. Nothing. If gaming was all of a sudden taken away from you, how would that make you feel? Right? Right. If you give a shit, you're a gamer. That's pure and simple.
Pure and simple. Nope, I agree wholeheartedly, man. It's just interesting. It came up with Elden Ring too, when people said you shouldn't cheese Elden Ring. The devs made
I feel accomplished when I find a way to cheese something myself.
Right. So do I. And I cheese stuff at Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, bro, From Software purposely allows you to break their games. Like, that's a thing. Like, that's like, they allow you to go find cheesy sections and cheese the hell out of it and power level and do all sorts of stuff. People are like, you can't use magic. You can't use the overpowered magic because that's cheesing the bosses and you're not a real Souls player. Shut the hell up. Play your way. Go ahead, brag all you want that you played butt naked in a Souls game with your little dagger and you beat every single boss without taking a hit. That's an accomplishment for you. That's an accomplishment for me. Brag all about it. But don't tell me I can't go cheese the hell out of the game if I want to. Yeah. Again, that's my personal experience. So Alvin with the $5 super chat says, I like gaming purity tests. I love to wave at them as they pass by. Hashtag Captain Jack.
Yeah, right on.
Shot. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Alvin. Exactly. No, Jasper, we're not coming after you.
Jasper. Because he has a high completion rate, gets all the achievements, and he's really good.
Correct. He's really good. Yeah. Again, that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. Whatever. Love Jasper. Last thing we should touch on here, Mav, unless there's something else you want to get into, but I did save this for last, just as a quick conversation piece. I don't think it's a big deal. Obviously, a lot of people do because there's this fight over digital, physical media constantly, where the gaming industry is going, specifically gaming right now, because we are transitioning into such a heavy digital age. But Xbox announced today that they are shutting down the Xbox 360 game store as of July 2024. So next year, the Xbox 360 store will close down. You will not be able to purchase games on there. VGC put out a list of approximately 200 games. I know some people already said, the game, and there's some on there that you can buy elsewhere right now, etc. But they put out a list of like 200 games or so that are available only digital only, and that aren't available on current gen or even last gen, that there were 360 only games. So you might want to take a look at that list and see if there's any on there that you want to pick up if you have a 360 game. Of course, this does not mean that they're going to take away the ability to play the games. It just means the store, the ability to purchase them will be gone. But if you own the game, you will be able to play the game. Backwards compatibility is not going anywhere. None of that stuff. Just simply the store will be shut down July 2024. No more 360 purchases from that specific store at that point. Backwards compatible games you'll still be able to buy on your Xbox One or your Xbox Series console. Those are still sticking around. Mav, any thoughts on them shutting down the 360 store after all this time?
Not really. I mean, at this point, like the ones like that are like all the back compat is there. So like,
yes.
The other ones, I guess, like the the digital stuff, right? That's where it really hits the hardest. But like, I'd leave it up to those developers and publishers to put versions out for newer hardware or make them backwards compatible.
A lot of them are available on PC as well.
Like,
so a lot of them are available PC. So
I would say that it kind of sucks, right? But it's also been going on for since 2006 or 2000. So it's to be expected, and I'm not going to really criticize Xbox too much on this when they're the ones that have all generations playable on the Series X and S consoles for the games that were made backwards compatible, right? So and it's not just up to them to do that. It's up to the publishers and developers and all those kind of things as well. So if you are going to miss your favorite game or whatever, potentially, that you can't buy digitally anymore, which a lot of them have been delisted anyway due to licensing and stuff, you can still get a physical copy for whatever's available physically, or hope that one day the developers or publishers of that title make it back compat. Because honestly, the future of game preservation is backwards compatibility.
Correct.
And that's just the reality of it.
And that's why emulation is so important as well. So a lot of those games, again, are available on PC, and emulators are out there. I saw a lot of people posting, hey, it's still available on Xenia. So again, if you got a PC, you're going to have access to those games if you want them. I did go through the list. Like I said, there's a couple in there that I'm like, do I pick those up? Because I still got my 360. Do I want to keep them? But then I started looking them up, and they're all available on PC. And I'm like, well, if I ever want them, I'll pick them up on PC, like Dungeons and Dragons Daggerfall. Like that's a game I actually enjoyed back in the day that was digital only on Xbox. It's available on PC, of course, and it plays even better than it ever did on the 360. So I'm like, well, now I'll just pick them up on my PC. If I want.
And a lot of these games are still going to be purchasable on the Series X if they're back compat.
If they're backwards compat, exactly. Like the Call of Duty games and all that stuff that we just saw them revive again, that became bestsellers again. Those are all backwards compatible.
I think some people don't understand the difference of like what's happening here with the fact that 360. Some people just think 360 games are going to be disappeared from being able to be purchased.
Log into the 360 and buy those games anymore from that store.
Digital,
that's all.
Right?
Yeah, digital. Yeah, that's all. So I just want to make mention of that. Yeah, exactly. Emulators, exactly. Poison Maniac. So just happens what it happens, but no. And I saw somebody else say that they're not going to kill the servers. Nope. They confirmed once again, as long as the publishers and devs are still supporting the servers will remain up for 360 games. All that stuff is going to stay the same. And obviously we just saw Xbox revive the Call of Duty servers. So they're not going to shut those down. I mean, again, they're seeing huge success. They were like,
they were all
like in the UK, like the top
sales
4,
list, right?
Yeah, like it was crazy. It was a huge resurgence. So we're all good there. Yeah, and you can get emulators on the console in dev mode. Yeah, on the series consoles, the dev mode, you can still get the emulators on there if you want them for sure. So, Mav, any other topics you wanted to touch on, or should we get everybody out of here? We've been going for 3.5 hours, brother.
Yeah.
2 hours in Starfield.
Yeah, let's get everybody out of there.
Let's get everybody.
Go eat some dinner and play some games and have a fantastic night.
I gotta go to bed shortly here, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's a fun show tonight, though, man. A lot of
It was a great show, man. The Starfield hype is real. Again, 2 more PM into PMs away, 2 more Thursdays, man. And we're going to be live for an hour here right into launching.
Yeah. So are you
Starfield.
gonna go and potentially stream Starfield?
Potentially stream? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right on.
I'm going to see if I can get set up by then and potentially stream. Yes. Because that was my plan from the beginning, was to stream Starfield. So we'll see if I can get that set up. We'll see if I want to do it opening night or if it'll be a little bit later. I don't know. Again, this is going to be new ground for me. I'm super hyped to do it. I want to do it. I want to get the community involved, but I am a single player guy at heart. So this is going to be different for me to do this because I have a lot of things.
Because you're going to be like interacting with the chat,
Starfield
and all that stuff.
And I'm exposed for some of my, my idiosyncrasies when it comes to playing games by myself, right? And how I character develop and all that kind of, like, it's going to be different for me, but I'm kind of excited to do it. So I definitely want to hop in and make that happen. But yeah, 2 Thursdays away, folks, for early access for those in the United States. So unbelievable. But yeah, it was a great show, man. Great conversations tonight. We went a lot of different ways. Great interactions with the chat. Chat was freaking amazing. Again, topped out at over 250 people. Again, whether you were here for 5 minutes or the entire time, thank you for being here. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for all the love and support that you give us each and every week on all of our shows. And again, extra special thank you to all of you that made the 1K on Living Split Screen possible. Steele and I obviously will be there this week. We'll be talking about that and celebrating as well. But thank you for a great night, Mav. Again, brother, great catching up with you. Haven't talked to you a whole lot this week at all outside of the DMs. You've been busy. I'm extremely busy, but always right here, PM in the PM, we get to catch up and talk this stuff. Ooh, tell everybody what we got coming up, including Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night, brother.
Xbox Ultimate Podcast, 10 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. We'll have some fun. I feel like going back and bashing IGN a little bit more tomorrow because we didn't talk about that enough tonight, probably. So we'll have some fun with that.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that one.
Tomorrow, and also especially with their other latest shenanigan thing they did. And then we'll be back on Monday for FSP at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, PM in the PM. If there's anything that happens cool or fun in between, maybe some streaming. Maybe you're going to see me and Pong this weekend. I have a Madden match stream.
We might.
Right?
You can see me just totally get crushed. So
we'll see. I'm telling you, I haven't played Madden in a while. So
it don't matter.
Like
I gave up Madden years and years ago, and you saw what happened last year. It doesn't matter how rusty you are. I'm not even close to your level, bro.
It'll be fun.
So, but that's why I like taking these bets, because if I do happen to make it a game, then it's even better because I got nothing to lose because I know how terrible I am.
Right.
Mav's got everything to lose in these things.
I do. It's the pressure's on, actually. Like if I lost to you though, what would happen is I would all of a sudden become a hardcore Madden player again. Because I could never allow that to happen.
You would never hear the end of it.
I would like have to play again and then go do a rematch and like show you what I'm really capable of, right? But anyway, like it'll be fun. So tune in probably this weekend. We'll announce the time probably for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll shout it out.
Cool.
That it?
Yes, it, sir.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Great night. Great time. Appreciate you all. Pong Soul, Xbox Pong Soul on the X, formerly known as Twitter as well. Otherwise, you know where to find me tomorrow night. I will be on Xbox Ultimate, of course, with the fam. We're going to have a good show, good times, good talk. 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, right here on the Fun Speculation Network. And then Saturday morning, that's right, Living Split Screen, our first show over 1K. It's going to be a fantastic celebration. Steele and I will have a lot to talk about, as we always do on Saturday mornings. 3+ hours, Living Split Screen, all one word. If you haven't dropped in, haven't checked us out, please do so. Again, we just bring the energy. We love to talk. It's just a 2-man show each and every week, 3+ hours. We went 4.5, nearly 5 last week. It was just a blast. So join us there, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, Saturday morning. And then, of course, Saturday night, it's the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, myself. This is on PTK Blam's channel. We've been getting bigger and bigger audience. We usually have a guest. He hasn't announced a guest yet, so I don't know if it's going to be the 3 amigos or more. Normally, we do have guests, but every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, the Shop Podcast. PTK hit me up in DMs. I didn't even have a chance to really talk back to him. He's getting more and more hyped for Starfield, bro. He is getting he was already excited, but he is like getting into it. And he's like yo, I think this thing's game of the year. I think it's gonna come out with the high
Nice.
90s. Like, he's all excited. So we're gonna talk a lot of Starfield this weekend on Saturday night. Again, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Check us out in the shop. Next week, got to shout out the man who pushed me and Steel over 1K today. The man who does this for so many people. I gave him flowers on Twitter. I gave him flowers at the beginning of the show, but I always will, because this man is just one of the best in the community, just one of the best human beings. Mr. Boomstick, Double Barrel Gaming. That's right. Every Tuesday, Xbox Factor podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. All good things green every Tuesday. Please go check out one of his 5 shows a week that he does. Mr. Boomstick, Double Barrel Gaming is the place to be. And of course, God willing, back here next weekend, like we just talked about, for PM and the PM, right here with my brother Mav, next Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Again, Gamescom news next week. We should have some fun news next week. There's gonna be a lot of talk next week on top of Starfield hype just growing and growing and growing. So be there. Otherwise, it's the golden age of gaming, people. Truly is, man. I don't know what else to say to you all right now. If you aren't enjoying yourself, I can't help you, because my God, too much to play. So many great games out right now. Get out there, play what you love what you play. I'm going to talk to you all real soon. Y'all have a great, fantastic night. Great Friday. It's a great start to your weekend. Mav, get us out of here.
Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.